Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Monoxide Podcast. I'm your host, Harris, a.k.a. Monoxide, man of many automotive aspirations. And today I'm here with my co-host, Dan.
Hello, how's it going?
Mr. Gunnick Garage.
That's right.
You know how mad I am, by the way? He went on a cruise for 9 days, 10 days?
7 days.
Okay, we're just going to round up.
Yeah.
And he's got this tan now. So when I was editing the last episode with Joe DeVito, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, you know, like how... the bridesmaids can't be, better looking than the lady getting married. Yeah. And I'm just sitting here thinking, this is bullshit. Like, he can't be over here looking better than me with a beautiful tan. So in Texas 2K, I'm going to become a lobster.
He's killing you right now.
Yeah.
I know. It's just
good Norwegian genes. It's
because Norwegians are known for having great tans.
Yeah. Are they not? I mean, you get the Swedes, blonde hair.
Oh, wow. Yeah, not tans.
Yeah.
So sweet. On that note, today we're going Beyond the Meat with Paul Rohde. It's Rohde, right?
Rohde, yeah.
Yeah. I have this bad habit at the beginning of episodes asking people about their last names, by the way.
I answer when people say road, I don't even correct them anymore.
Yeah.
As a kid and teenager, it's the end of the fucking world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As an adult, you couldn't care less. It's like, whatever the fuck you want.
Just move on.
Yeah.
I remember you'd be in school and then they mispronounce, or a substitute teacher would come in and
You'd
then
freak out.
Well, especially if they really mess it up. Like if your name sounds almost phallic or something, then you're just getting made fun of forever. I remember one time, this was 7th or 8th grade, and the teacher was doing attendance, and he called Dylan Dill. Mm-hmm. End of the world. I mean, for the next 6 months, poor guy.
That's pretty rough, though. I mean, in school, that's a bad one.
Yeah. But anyways, today we're going Beyond the Me. Just wanted to get you... Honestly, I remember when I was putting together my podcast list 3 years ago, you were somewhere on that list. I was putting together just basically anybody in the car scene that I knew that would just have cool stories. So I think you probably have some of the most... we were talking before we started the podcast, you got the Z28, has 30,000 miles of hard rallying.
Yeah, hard rallies, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've done them all. You've done all the big ones. I mean, I know you've done 1 or 2 Gumballs now.
2 Gumballs, yeah.
Yeah, yep. Are you, is there another one coming up? Or?
There's a Gumball every year. The 25th one this year is coming up. They just had to change the route because of what's going on in the Middle East. So now it's going to start in Vietnam and end in Singapore. It'll be the 25th one.
Are you doing that one?
I'm not doing that one.
Okay.
Flat out, because the rally was going to start at the pyramids, and then they were going to fly the cars over. And that one just isn't going to get past the wife. Plus, the wife has some obligations that weekend, and so we can't go. But it's if it's a normal car rally stateside, I could take any of my co-pilots. But if it's something big where it's out of the country, she's going.
Right, that's fair.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious because I kind of paid attention to some of the social media stuff you posted or people were tagging you in. So the first year you went, what was the route for that?
Toronto, and it was supposed to end in Havana.
Okay.
And because of, we could swear in here, right?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
The fucking Russians. I was so excited about Havana, because they were going to ship the cars or ferry the cars to Havana, and we're going to see all these cars from the 50s and 60s. 50s. I don't know if they have the 60s era down there, but the 50s and 60s that have all been modified with Russian parts. So you're going to see 350s and 400s with all these modifications on them. I really want to see that kind of shit. How they're keeping these cars running. But think of the United States here. We have, my dad does refurbishing old tractors. He's got tractors from the 50s that are still running to this day with no problem. So it's not that big of a deal, but you want to see how they're doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, here we got master mechanics and fabricators everywhere. And down there they do, but they don't have the tools or the technology that we do.
Yeah, because they're stuck. It's kind of like this, a time capsule.
Right.
Yeah,
it's back in time. Yeah.
So it did finish in Havana, or didn't
we
work
weren't
out?
allowed to. Okay. So we ended in Miami, and then there was an unofficial leg that went down to Key West for the day. But yeah, it went from Toronto to Miami, and then at the Hard Rock Cafe there. So it's called Hollywood, Florida. That's what I wanted to say.
Yep, that's where we stayed a couple of years ago, I think.
Right.
Okay, that's a nice area.
Yeah, there was one stop in Kentucky that just a small little bourbon town. The whole city, not a city, very small town. The whole community came out. It was like nothing I've ever seen. Everyone was there.
That's one of my favorite parts of rallies is when you get the stops along the way.
Yeah.
It's one thing to launch and then get everybody involved, But if you can get people to come out at each city, that's a whole next level.
And to them, you are making their fucking day, their year. You're going to be in their thoughts for a very long time. And to you, it's just another face that's kind of in the crowd. You know, you're driving by. You can't treat it like that because these interactions, they will remember you. They'll remember how you treated them, that you smiled. A simple fucking high five goes so far with people in the car community.
Yeah, we did that. So the one and only year I went on Crown as a photographer, super last minute, people couldn't make it. This was like a weird part of my life where I was like, just ask. The worst they can do is say no. So I ended up riding shotgun in the SVJ with the Savage Garage guys, and we're bombing through the Smoky Mountains. And I mean, you had families sitting on the side of, you know, these hillbilly towns, kind of. I don't know how to describe it, but like middle of nowhere, into mountains, into hills, and they're just cheering. Like they hear people roaring down the mountains miles away. And to us, we're just, you know, enjoying the roads. But like you said, to them, it's like,
They've never seen anything like that before.
well, especially like the SVJ. This is like 2018 or whatever, brand new rocket ship.
Yeah.
And you see these like the guy, what was his name, Chuck or whatever, had the brand new 600 LT.
Yeah, and for non-car people that might be watching the show, we're talking this Lamborghini SVJ. It's not just a Lamborghini Aventador. It's their track car, correct?
Yeah.
And it's so low to the ground. It no matter who you are in life, you don't even have to be a car guy. That car captures your attention. You know, like a Porsche GT2 RS doesn't capture someone's attention, but it is the meanest track car in the world. Those Lamborghinis grab your eye. Yep. They grab your eye, and you can't help but just look at it and go, fuck. That's it. That's what you say. I mean, it's what goes in your head.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the look.
It's the look.
Because, like you said, the GT2 RS, track monster, destroys everything. The SVJ, like, as awesome as, and it performs well, but when you put it compared to, again, a GT2 RS or, you know, a McLaren or something, it's just like, well, it's third, performance-wise.
Yeah, performance-wise.
It's a pig.
It's a piece of art.
It's a piece of art. Yeah, I remember I think that was before I was straight pipe. We were ripping through this 1 mile tunnel in somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Nashville or whatever, or not Nashville, Tennessee. Just incredible. Yeah. So I had a little.
Well, you guys shut down the streets of Nashville too. Like we rallied to Nashville, but not in that fashion.
Well, you're talking Gumball when we shut down.
Yeah, that was the one we started in Toronto. You were heading down there, right?
Yeah, we saw you. You were there.
Yeah,
you and
so
your old
I just
man were
happened
there.
to be passing through town because I bought a Bronco down in Alabama, and I took my dad and my uncle there, and all of a sudden I'm like, Gumball? I see they got banners everywhere. So I hit you up because I knew you were doing it. Yeah, that was crazy.
We were like one of the first ones there, too, that checkpoint. We were hauling ass that day. But, yeah. But back to the small towns, when that Crown Rally in Kentucky, I know exactly what you're talking about. If you recall, there was like a kid on the side of the road selling barbecue. We all stopped. We're eating barbecue from this high school kid trying to raise up money and stuff like that for whatnot. And when we leave, we're all doing burnouts. Everyone's coming out, like, you know, cheering you on because, again, you just made their fucking day.
Yeah.
And all you did was hit the throttle and let it loose a little bit.
You say throttle like you have a normal sounding car. By the way, I have one of my favorite photos from that year was I don't know if you had your flag. I don't think you did, but we were doing rollers, and you guys had headsets in your car.
Gotta, yeah.
You have to, because like you can't talk in there. I mean, I'm just curious. Have you ever measured like the decibel level of that car?
No, because to me, the inside of the car doesn't sound loud.
Really?
It's. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I know it's loud, but it's not deafening. I mean, a friend of mine, Brad Erickson, has a '69 Z28. Same fucking engine I have. It's a 427, but for some reason, his sounds like Satan screaming. I mean, that thing is so damn loud. And I'd like to think, you know, in my head, I'm going, yeah, my car sounds like that. No, it don't. But I hear that it's loud. I just think mine sounds good. It's not loud. But if you're following it for a couple hours, it's loud. We wear the headset because my old co-pilot, Taylor, he mumbles. And it's not his fault. It's just, he just mumbles. So when you have these noise canceling headsets on, you can hear each other perfectly. And the guy loves to sing Adele. So we'll be singing Adele and shit like that. And, you know, cause you got to press a button to talk. Cause we have music going through it and stuff, but at the end of the day, you're not fatigued. So when you don't have the headset on, at the end of the day, you're vibrating. It's like when you're swimming all day, you're kind of floating, and in a car, you're vibrating. Your hands are a little bit sore and cramped up. But your head is not ringing anymore. It's nice. So it's nice. It's bottom line, it's nice. And then if the wife drives or rides with, it's nice because she gets quality conversation in, and it just works out.
Those cars are obnoxious. Like, I done a rally in my buddy's C7. We came back from tail to dragon, actually both ways, and again, the ringing is true, but then he got a Turbo S the following year that's damn near straight piped, and that was even worse than the Corvette. And I'm just like, it's so true.
Yeah.
The ringing after a 10-hour drive.
Yeah, it does. You vibrate. And you got Mustangs, and I know that you don't, you know, you're 500 GT, right? You have a 500 GT?
Yeah, yep.
Now that they do a lot of work on that to not have that wear and tear, correct? I mean,
well, until I do a resonator delete, but yeah,
is that what you did?
Yeah, I'm going to eventually, but they put baffles and stuff in there,
Yeah.
and then it opens up to basically straight pipe when you're in track mode.
Yeah, gotcha.
So
but they
give
do a
you-
lot with the cabin to kind of not quiet it up.
Yeah, it's
but
not
to-
bad. Mine's
yeah.
the track version, so I think it has a little less insulation in it than other ones do, but it, yeah, it's definitely nicer than my orange car, which
Right.
is I straight pipe basically, and that thing sounds like it's spitting fire.
So the Z28 project, they took all of that out. So a ZL11LE is their track car with the supercharger. Beautiful car, but it's got a lot of luxuries in it. The Z28 has zero. The only luxury you can have in it is air conditioning. The windows are thinner. Sound insulation's gone. Underneath the car, it's just metal. It's not the spray they put on for anti-vibration crap and stuff like that they do on the nicer vehicles. And there's no reason. And other car manufacturers have these type of cars. They're track cars. They're cars that don't have these nice, luxuries and amenities. Why drive them? And it's almost like you kind of want the abuse. You kind of just want the, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm beat up, but I feel good. I feel punished. Good. Good. It feels good. It's no one wants to ride in it. For a little bit, everyone does, but no one, after they ride it, you could tell it's not what I thought it was.
It's exhausting.
Yeah. I mean, it's got a squared stance. I got 325s all the way around. The front tires are the same as the back tires. You feel everything. You feel everything in that car. And I love it. The steering, everything. You feel it all. Now on my I have a 23 or 24 Z07, and it's got the track package in it, through Z06/7. It's got the track package in it, but you have electronic steering. You have electronic brakes. And if I'm saying any of these things wrong, I'm not a mechanic, but it's not connected to the road.
Yeah.
Do you feel the road? Absolutely, but you're not connected to it. And that's why I say that I love that car, but I'm in love with my Z28. The Z28 is as close to the 60s and 70s road racing as you could possibly get, because you feel the road. I mean, mechanics then could tell what was wrong with the car by their ass cheeks, the vibrations, the feel of it, and their hands.
The butt dyno.
Yeah, the butt dyno. I've never heard that. I like that. And my car, and again, the Mustang is the GT 500 is their track car, right?
Yeah, but it still has more luxuries than that. It would probably be more close to the 1LE. I mean, it has a technology package, so I've got a subwoofer, I've got AC, I've got Recaro seats, so they're not heated and cooled, but they're still pretty comfortable for race seats.
But is it club cars that Porsche makes that has nothing in it?
Yeah.
That would be the next level, because I still have door panels, but those club cars don't have
Do
door
they put
panels.
a rear seat in it, in the Z28?
They do, but it's pointless. I deleted mine for my headset stuff.
Okay. So that's a
not
limited production thing too, right? The Z28s, how many?
733 out of 2 years, something like that.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Mine's car 700 on the VIN.
That's cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, well, 14. And here's the deal. It's like Vipers. When they came out, everyone's like 75,000. Fuck that. I'm not paying for it. They couldn't give them away. But as soon as they stopped making them, people are like, oh, hey, wait. Like Vipers. Vipers, I remember, were like $10,000 off when they came out.
Yeah.
Now you can't even get them for under MSRP, and they're
Not even
10
close.
years old or whatever.
So I'm in all the Viper forums, and one just got listed for 450,000.
Yeah.
And people buy it.
And what's the one that's an AC? help me.
ACR Extreme?
Yeah. Now, what's the deal on that? That's their track, right?
Yeah, yep. So they have the ACR and then the ACR Extreme, and I believe it's the ACR that's 1776 millimeter for the wing.
Yeah.
And then I think the extreme is 1886. Yeah, or something like that. But,
and that Morgan kid stood on his wing in the ditch, right? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Michael Morgan?
Yeah, Michael Morgan.
Yeah, he had the fourth generation ACR.
Did he?
Yeah,
he stood on the wing, didn't he? Isn't there a picture of him standing on the wing?
Yeah, when he hydroplaned to a ditch.
Yeah.
That sounds like something Michael Morgan would do for sure.
Yeah. Great guy.
Dude, I love him. We had him on the podcast, I want to say 15 episodes ago, 10 episodes ago, something like that. And that guy's just a hoot. I hate him so much for getting rid of that Viper.
Yeah.
That was a fun car. And then Gramps.
Yeah, but you're going to have wife and kids. You got to give up some things.
Yeah. And the toys have always come back, too.
Toys come back. When I had kids, I got out of motorcycles.
Okay.
But that was it.
What kind of bikes were you?
Too, but I still have my bikes.
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, it was street bikes, but then it turned into road bikes, you know, as you get older. But you have kids, and you just hear... By trade, I'm a bartender. So when you hear... You're always the target of fundraising. This person had an accident. Help! We need a gift certificate for that, and stuff like that. And when you hear of one too many, and you know, unspoken, but when you hear of one too many accidents, you slow down in life.
Yeah, that happened to me this year where I started, you know, all my life I kind of managed to get away from hearing those stories, like, you know, on the internet or whatever. But 2 people I know fell off this year. Actually, no, 3. And it's like you see it on Facebook. And one of them was like, you know, a bad accident. Guy lost his arm. And it's just like, that one hits close to home because his shop is just a couple miles from my house. Like, we will go over there, you know, whatever, do hot dogs or whatever, just chill. So then it's like, oh, damn. Like, it's always like being a young 24-year-old. It's always appealed to me. It's like, oh, I really want to at least get a bike once, you know. But then you start seeing that reality. It's like...
It goes way fast. And we didn't have it when I'm 51. So back when I was in my 20s, we didn't have GoPros and all this shit. So you couldn't see all these accidents. You just hear about it or a picture in the paper. And I think now if I was in my 20s and with what's forced into your brain with Instagram reels and shit like that, you see all these accidents. Like I would never even think about jumping on a bike. Now I'm being a big fucking hypocrite when I say it because I do have a moped that I use just to run to the bank or something like that. But I'm not over 30 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour. But again, I'm being a hypocrite because I know accidents can happen. But I'm not going to smoke a deer doing 80.
Yeah.
That's the big thing right there.
Yeah.
You never know
driving at night right out the gate.
I'm driving in the daytime when it's 80 out and no chance of rain.
Yeah. Me and Wheeler were doing rollers or whatever when he got that camo wrap, what was it, last year? And he almost smoked it. Like, the deer was inches from his hood. Like, we saw it in front of him, and I was like, oh, it was so close. But no, you never know what can happen. One of my buddies texted me yesterday. He's like, totaled. I'm like, huh? What's going on? He just got the Ford Raptor R, and he was going through an intersection, and a bus smoked him.
No shit.
Yeah, like one of those like transit buses or whatever. 50 miles an hour, he went into the side of it.
It's totaled. Does he want to see what the buyback is? Tell him I'll buy it from him.
I'll show you the pictures, dude. You do not want this thing.
I'll take the engine.
I'll take the engine.
Yeah.
Dude, this thing is mushed.
Yeah. So the Raptors are now back to V8s, right?
Yeah, they're the same motor that's in the GT500.
Yeah. So it's no longer the
God bless America
dark side V6. Just
they were still pretty nasty.
Yeah, I get they're nasty, but didn't the report just come out today? 708,000 of those engines in June of 23. The valve material's faulty, so now they're trying to. You can look that up yourself. Yeah. So I'm 50 again, so I do have investments, but in Ford's one of them. So you get all these news in the morning and stuff like that are just like. And my sister has everyone in my family used to be Ford people. My sister still is. I was always the black sheep of a GM guy. And as Dan knows, I've admitted it to everyone. I'm a huge closet Mustang guy. I love them. Will I own one? No, but I fucking love them. I see one. It's like, yeah, I like that car. You got to rip on them, but I still like
it's good. I love busted GM guys' balls. I mean, it's one of the joys I get in life. So it's between you, me, and Joe Baumeister. Sometimes on Facebook, things can get out of hand. And
it's funny. Yeah. Joe Baumeister, he has this car. What's it called? Grape soda?
Oh, Orange Crush.
Oh, yeah, Orange Crush.
If he could have everything orange, he would have.
I know. That's why I'm fucking with him because it's my favorite color too.
Yeah.
But his original one was faster, right?
Yeah.
Because this is his second one.
Yep.
It's a Gen 4?
Well, he has a SN95 convertible GT. It wasn't automatic, but he swapped it to a 6-speed manual. That was just kind of a cruiser. But what he had back in the day, I think, was a Cobra, and he had it boosted, all that stuff, and then he popped the motor, and his wife was like, okay, let's pump the brakes.
So I don't, when I debate those people, it's for fun only.
Yep.
I don't debate people or argue with people that have straight line cars. I'm not a straight line guy. Mm-hmm. You got to have the reaction of, F1 drivers to be successful at that shit. And I'm not a straight line guy.
I would say road course is definitely my favorite.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. Road courses, track courses. I do like Cannonball Series shit, point A to point B.
Yeah.
Yeah, rallying, it is, I tell people all the time when they're on here and they've never done one, I'm like, you'll get hooked. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, my orange car, when I picked up that car, because I drove through Hudson and saw your fucking car stickered up with all the Crown Rally stuff, and I'm like, what in the hell is that? So I do some Googling and some research, and I was like, I'm getting a car. Yeah. We're doing this. I did that for the sole purpose of doing rallies.
Yeah.
So
Crown Rally was, and I don't say this lightly, Crown Rally is top 5 greatest things ever to come into my life. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because it brought that world to perspective for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't abuse alcohol ever. I don't do drugs. Never got hooked on anything stupid. Mm-hmm. But cars, I mean, rallying, I thoroughly enjoy it. You know what else is great about car community? Everyone gets along. Of course, you're gonna have a little, whatever spat here and there.
Yeah, people that are coming up usually.
Yeah, but as a community, fuck. Mm-hmm. Tell me one better. There isn't. There isn't. Great people. And it doesn't matter what your car is. You go to, and you can ask truly, like, put a lie detector on hardcore Mustang guy. He can admire a GTR. Grady, our buddy of ours, has a fully carbon fiber GTR. Mm-hmm. You don't think every time I see it, I'm like, fuck, look at that car. Will I ever sit in it? No, because I don't want one. You know why I'm not hooked on cocaine? I've never done it. Okay. and why I've never sat in a GT2 RS? Because I don't want to buy one. I can't afford to just throw that kind of money to buy one. Mm-hmm. But that's why I stick with Camaros. That's why I stick with my Z28. Mm-hmm. I can afford it. I just, you got a Lamborghini in the wall. Is it beautiful? Absolutely. Is it sexy? 100%. Will I ever sit in one? No, because I just don't want to take that risk of going, I got to have this.
Yeah. Before we get too far into the show, I wanted to take a moment to talk about Raise a Hood. If your daily driver is having issues, aka your beater you got off Craigslist, Raise a Hood's telemechanics and AI tools can help you diagnose and solve the issues you may be dealing with for a fraction of the cost. All you have to do is add your car to the Raise a Hood garage to get started. You can provide the AI tool, also known as Gus, with the specifics of the issues you're having, and it'll help you narrow down what the culprit is. It's a great way to bounce ideas off of to figure out what actually might be the problem. You could then select from a variety of solutions to explore the cost and difficulty of doing the repair yourself versus taking it to a shop. If your car doesn't have detailed solutions yet, that's totally fine. Just go ahead and add your car to the garage for free, and that'll let the Raise a Hood team know what to focus on as they continue to develop and grow. If you want to try out Gus or chat with a telemechanic, go to raiseahood.com and add your car to the garage to get started. Use code MONOXIDE-FREE for a 1-month free subscription, or Monoxide20 to save 20% on a 30-minute call with a telemechanic. Let's get back to the show. That's fair.
Can't do it.
The V12s are, so in order of dream cars in the last 5 years for me, it went from the Aventador to the Viper to Supra to GT500, and I'm like, I have to have all of those. And the thing is, out of all those, the GT500 is probably the most attainable. Yeah, the Supra, whatever. I moved on from that. Not really, but I'm just sitting here thinking, like, they're going to be down into 70,000s here any year now. And it's like, that's really attainable. And it's probably one of the funnest cars I've ever been in or driven.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
I've never driven one, but I've driven with plenty of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the one I drove, it's our buddy's. It was making 1,014 to the wheels, and that was my first time driving a 1,000 horsepower car, and I'm like, this is rambunctious.
And see, it's dangerous because it's. So my Z28 is, well, as of the moment, it's 556.4, something like that, right around there.
Yeah.
Rear wheel. We did a little more work to it, so it's going to be closer to the 580s, right? Mm-hmm. Rear wheel. When I come out of a corner, I can hammer on that throttle. when I come out of the corner on the ZL11 LE, you have to feather. You have to ease into it. You have to feel it. You have to know what's going on.
Yep.
I think it's because my dad taught me this. It's foot on or foot off. There's no playing around. Just get going on it, hammer on it. Twin turbos, superchargers, they all have a purpose. Man, they're scary. Trying to figure out twin turbos, this is some scary shit, because when that boost kicks in, you're flying. I mean, I have a diesel truck that has a turbo on it, of course, but when you hammer on that, it's the same kind of leg, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where you kind of have that instant, but some of these twin turbos are stacked, right?
Yeah.
Like BMWs do that. So it's constant pressure.
You get low end and high end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's scary shit to me.
It's
that's
still
crazy.
So like a root style supercharger, like the ones that sit on top there, they'll give you a little more torque, so they'll feel like a little more punch. The turbo, I have not really ever been in anything twin turbo, but it is a whole nother animal.
I feel safer in those, though. Something about a supercharged car, like, Mark's Mustang, thing.
They give it a lot of punch. I think you're going to be more likely to break a wheel loose.
Yeah, pushers.
Like that,
Push. I prefer pushers too over turbos. I say that very narrow-mindedly because I've never had a twin turbo vehicle other than diesel trucks. But I can control a supercharger, per se. But I do prefer naturally aspirated. But I'm telling you, if I ever came across a GT2 RS, I'd be sitting in the chair next to it going, oh, dude, I love twin turbos, because it'd be a GT2 RS. You get what I'm saying? I mean, it's just, it's nuts, those cars.
Do you tune your truck up at all? It being so new, you probably...
That's the single cab, right? Or no?
Oh,
I got a couple. So my 2020 single cab dually... is deleted.
Is that the one your daughter drives?
No, she has the old farm truck. So she had 14. That was her first vehicle, a 14 gasser 1-ton regular cab dually. But that thing was rough. That thing was rough. But she paid to put her little 3-inch lift kit in it because she had to, and I don't know where they get that idea
My
from.
14-year-old's in the same boat right now. She's already planned out everything she's going to get for her truck.
Yeah.
She knows exactly what she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great for her because the kids learn how to drive rear-wheel drive. They know how to drive in snow. But how my girls got good at driving that shit was the ATVs at the farm. It gets muddy out, take them out in the pasture. They're not going to roll it. They go slow enough, but they learn how to handle the ass end whipping around and stuff like that. And it does translate over to a vehicle quite nicely.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I've got anything with engines, my kids get in it and go. I got even my littlest daughter, she's 7, and she's been on 500cc snowmobile riding around out at the land up north. And so, getting them used to all that right out the gate. Yeah. Owen's been driving side-by-sides and stuff since she was about 8 years old. Yeah,
it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Teach your kids how to ride ATVs and stuff like that. And also controversial, but teaching them how to handle and understand guns. Like my daughters, they're good with guns. They understand guns. But the main thing is I've taught them is if you ever see a gun somewhere and it ain't supposed to be there, this is how you disassemble it. This is how you get rid of key components where that gun can't be used.
Yep.
That's the main reason.
I've gone through the same thing with my kids too. Like first thing you need to do is check and make sure it's clear. Like just.
Oh yeah, every gun's loaded. Every fucking gun's loaded.
Yep.
Even if you handed someone and that person saw you check it, you still have to check it.
Yep.
I mean, it was beating our heads. Again, I'm 51. In 6th grade, we took guns on the school bus to school.
Yeah,
we did. We took our guns to school. You had to sign permission slip and shit. But I still remember the .22 rifle in one hand, the shotgun in the other hand.
My dad, he used to put him in his locker, stuff like that. They would just go to.
We took him right to the classroom back then.
Yeah.
I'm 10 years older than you, I think.
Yeah.
And St. Croix Central, great school.
Yeah.
Then we took a bus to the gravel pit, and Mr. McGee, I still remember, he had a 1911, and he was telling the kids, "Okay, just it's one of you guys. Teachers were realistic back then. One of you dipshits are going to cut your thumb on this and dirty up my gun." And sure shit, they had their thumb up and it sliced their thumb when it fired. And it's like, dude, he told us about that was going to happen. But Yeah.
I can't even imagine doing that shit nowadays. That would be
insane.
Yeah,
teach your kids about guns is almost like a taboo now, and it's like no.
There's people out there cringing listening to us talk about this right now. I'm sure.
And I don't mean to bring that up. And you can edit that shit out, but
you're good.
It's important because if you don't teach them, someone else is going to. If you don't create a culture, one's going to be created for you. And
that should be on a T-shirt. That's a good quote.
That's a kind of a restaurant thing when you have bad managers. If you don't create your culture, one's going to be created for you.
That can be applied to anything. I mean,
anything in life.
Yeah, any business. Yeah, or in life. Yeah,
the shop downstairs. I mean, your home life, everything. If you don't create it, it's going to be created for you.
I got to give it to Rat. He has a great team assembled here. I mean, from both shops. I mean, all these guys come say hi or whatever. It's like, and something like that goes. It's really underrated, right? But if you go somewhere and it's like people don't want you there, like you feel it. But here, it feels like you're at home.
You find the shop you want to be at. There's plenty of shops where I'm at. I've done all of my work through Tire Pros because the people that do all the engine work is called Race Proven Motorsports out of Delaware. Yeah, Delaware, and they just ship it over here, and then. Have they ever dealt with this stuff before? No, but they have a guy there that loves that stuff. And when you want to work on something, you learn quick.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, and he's been there forever. He's the only guy that's ever worked on my car, and I love it.
You ever done any wrenching on it, or?
I'll wrench. So I have a 68 GTO. I'll do, just play around with that, look at stuff. But that's been modified now, and that's above my pay grade, I guess you could say. I'm someone that if something goes wrong, I want to make sure that it wasn't because of trying to save a penny, trying to pinch a dollar, trying to do it, trying to save some time. I want to make sure that if it breaks, it's because I broke it. It's not because of bad judgment. It's not because I got cheap parts or something like that. So I try to do some research, and then I ask experts, hey, how did you do this? How'd you do that? And then I go with that. And that's why my Z28, it's everything I've done to it. It's for durability reasons. I mean, even stiffening up the frame, it's durability reasons only. It's not really, I'm not trying to outrun someone because, again, it's a 427 stick shift track car, natural aspirated. It's not, you're not drag racing anyone and winning.
Yeah.
You're not. You're going to pull away from someone for a little bit. You can hang with anyone for a couple seconds. Yeah. Until someone's turbo spool up, and then they're gone. The Z06 is a different beast, so that flat plane cranked engine. And that's naturally aspirated. That's scary.
That's like the highest horsepower naturally aspirated engine
ever
out there, right?
Yeah. V8, yeah.
V8, okay.
Yeah, it's V8, good call. It's nuts. Yeah, that car's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they announced that, I was like, I've been saying this for the last 30 episodes. Ford and Chevy are killing it on the enthusiast game right now. Like they're making what people want to see. And that when they announced that it's gonna be the highest naturally aspirated V8, I'm like, it's game over.
Yeah, they're building realistic cars, and you get kicked in the balls too for being a Mustang guy.
Yeah.
I get kicked in the balls for it's still a Corvette. Fuck off. It's paid for. How many payments at 6% do you have on your $300,000 car? Have fun. It's just it's things are different in my life than someone else's life, and some people really care what people think of their car.
Yeah,
and I don't. I love it. Like if I'm on Crown Rally, there's never going to be, like highlighted video of my car. It's never going to happen.
Which is a bummer because you had some cool raps too.
It's dude. That's the only reason I do the cool raps is to get some sort of attention. But when I took it to Europe, it got highlighted a lot just because they don't see those cars. True. They don't see them. McLarens, Lamborghinis, Porsches, they're everywhere. Lamborghini Uruses are everywhere. Here I'm like, that's a cool car, and people locals are like, yeah. It's like, it must be rough.
Well, it's like Shmi. He has all those he has the GT 500 and however many American cars. And people are like, this is amazing.
Yeah. So he was on this last Gumball, he had a separate car every day.
I saw that,
and that was weird.
Yeah.
Because you didn't know. Because he drives very good and very aggressive. But his handlers and the other people that are driving his cars, because it seemed like all the cars were with. I can't verify it, but there was always multiple of his cars with on the rally, no matter where you were. But some you could come flying up on one, and it's one of his guys driving it. So it's like, okay, he's not gonna be driving aggressive. He's not gonna have fun and shit like that. So you just kind of got to get around it. But he had his van, he had his own people and stuff,
which is, I mean, that's cool. I mean,
it's cool
because he brought the Zenvo, I think the SF90, the GT500, and whatever else he has. But how many days was that event? 10, right?
7.
Yep, yeah, that's
7
crazy.
days. Yeah, 7 days, 7 cars, and no matter where you go, people want to know, like, if you're there before someone, they're like, how far away is Shmi? How far away is D&D or Daily Driven Exotics?
Yeah,
DDE. That's all it is, man. It's they and if you're standing by one of those guys, people want your autograph. Like if you're standing next to Dave, someone's like, dude, I need your autograph. I'm nobody. Dude, I'm telling you, I'm a guy from Wisconsin. I'm nobody. So that's always fun. It's fun. Tell you the 2 coolest cars that clowned me on a track, a GT2 RS. Clowned me like you didn't have a chance. Clowned me, and it was really cool. And it was decaled up like the famous help me out, the Pink Pig or something.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, great driver.
That's my coffee mug, by the way.
Is it? Some people think he's reckless, but great driver. Great driver.
And what was the other car?
Sienna, McLaren Senna.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah,
McLaren Senna, and that was in the Gumball from Toronto to Miami, and I ran with that kid for a while. In that car, yeah,
it's amazing.
Wow, and you don't realize it until you see it. If you get a chance to go see one, you got to go see it in person. Seeing it on a poster and seeing it on social media posts does not do it justice.
Yeah,
you know what another car doesn't do it justice is an F40. So. A person I know in Hudson has one, and seeing it up close, and it's like, holy shit, the floor is carbon fiber. Yeah.
He's made it out to he makes it out to like 1 or 2 shows a year.
Yeah. I didn't want to say his name because he's private. He's very private.
Yeah.
But it's cool seeing it in person, and it's like how many parts on it there, like the plastic or the acrylic cover over the hood, and it's like, dude, it's cheap, but it's a race car. It's not meant to be, some carbon fiber thing that's going to lift up. It's incredible car to see in person. And that Senna was the same way. And usually people in those super high end rear cars, cool as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy was a kid, and I didn't want to say anything offensive, like, is it your dad's? I mean, how'd you get it? How'd you obtain it? You just leave that shit alone. And that's something that it's like on car rallies, you're always going to meet someone that's bigger than life, and how do you act around them? As soon as they see you're a car person, they will judge you on how you drive. And based on how you drive determines if they're going to hang out with you or not. The Gumball from Toronto to Miami, Bill, we ate with in the Kentucky area, Ken Griffey Jr. He was right next to us. I'm like, Bill, just leave him alone. Don't talk to him. Don't look him in the eye. Nothing. Because Bill, my co-pilot, he'll talk to anyone. I'm like, he's a normal guy. Because we're both starstruck. We're like, fucking, it's Ken Griffey Jr. And I go to get something to eat and come back to the table, and him and Bill are just talking. He's like, so you work for this guy? And I'm like, yeah, it's my chef and stuff like that. And shook hands, and I was just like, I couldn't even make eye contact. I'm looking down. I'm like, fuck, dude, this is cool. But yeah, nice as hell. I mean, so fucking nice. Yeah, it's cool. The car community's like that.
We've started off on plenty of rallies too, where I'm like, that guy's gonna be a douchebag, and then by the towards the end of it, you're sitting back, drinking beers, hanging out,
having a blast with
cars.
The person.
Yeah.
So yeah, some people they want to throw that alpha complex out. Yep. Like, don't
you get a few of those?
Yeah, and then when you drive with them, you know the people you can drive with and the ones that don't. And the things I always look at: tires and fucking brakes. You know, what do your tires look like? You know, what do your brakes look like? And if you're taking care of that shit, yeah, let's run, let's go, let's have some fun. But say in the Camaro world, if you have an SS and your brakes are looking a little worn and your tires are looking worn, I'm not going to let you fly up on me. I'm going to stay away. I'm going to let you pass me and get going, because I'm just not going to get in an accident because you weren't taking care of your car. Yeah. And again, the only reason I'm saying an SS is because I can say that with the Camaro community. I wasn't.
Oh, God forbid you say Mustang. It's so they're going to come at you.
Yeah. So, but that's all it is.
Yeah. Well, that's a huge thing on rallies too. Like, you know, I've done more running of them than being on them, funny enough, but it's, you know who you want to rally with. I always say there's the people that want to go balls to the wall, get there first. You have the middle group that's going maybe 20, 30 over. And then you got the guys that are just moseying along. Pick a group that you're comfortable with. You know, this guy's got to be first, you know, but
I just like to be in the front crew. It's all good.
Well, yeah.
I'm not the guy who's passing on the left, you know, and the shoulder and doing all that shit to get there though.
No, and when I see reckless driving like that, you let it go. You get to the next checkpoint, and you pull the guy aside, and now you learn from other people's fucking mistakes, and unfortunately, you know, an example I use is Larry for everything. You know, a friend of everyone in the rally world who lost his life because of driving too fast. That's all there is to it. So before every rally, I was like, hey. I've lost someone. You raise your hand if you've lost someone in this room. You know, it's due to trying to keep it too real. You know, Dave Chappelle had this skit. It was called "When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong," and it's the truth. You know, just humble yourself a little bit when you're driving. Understand it's not about you. It's not about your car. It's about the community and who you're representing. Because all those stickers on your fucking hood and fenders, you're representing them.
Yep.
You're representing them. There's a reason why 3M wasn't on every car on some of the rallies, because if you drove like a douche, you didn't get a 3M sticker on your car. If you were someone that was not a douche and could understand you're representing them, you got a big 3M sticker on the car.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I've been practicing my speech or whatever, because like I'm running the Community Rally, you know, in association with Community this year. So, and that'll be my first rally. So my last rally that I ran was my Whiplash rally, and that was the week before the Crown happened. So, you know, that was one of my concerns. But then I took the year off, and now I'm back in, and I've just been thinking, like, man, as the coordinator, you have to set the standard. And I mean, in my head, it sounds so aggressive, but you need to, because people want to make it home to their families. You know, it's like, yeah, we're out here to have fun, but let's let reality soak in a little bit. You know, humble yourself a little bit. Let's not overdo it. So, yeah, I've been thinking about that one a lot these last few months.
Maximilian Cooper, the creator of Gumball, the guy does not lose sleep if he kicks someone out of the rally.
Yep, exactly. That's what I told Balto, too. I'm like, we're going to kick someone off if we have to.
Yeah, you have to. So one thing that I would like to compliment on that rally and what other rallies need to do in order to get sponsors, the first day you're there, you unpack, you get in your room, all that stuff. And then you have to go to a meeting in groups of like, it's like 3 or 4, maybe 5 teams at a time. And you meet every single sponsor. So you go to their booth, you find out about it. They don't quiz you or question you on it. We're adults here. But you're respectful. You listen. They have a gift for you. They have a little thing for you. And you get to know who these people are on your fenders, who they are on your hood, who they are on your, you know, bumper and stuff. So when you're somewhere, you can actually talk about that company or say, hey, this is who you reach out to. Hey, check this out. And that's a good thing. That's how you're going to be able to grow sponsors. Because too many people will hit you up. Hey, sponsor my race car or some bullshit. And it's like, for what reason?
Right.
For what reason? Just for the 10 people that might see it and go, what is that? And you're not going to know a fucking thing about it. Oh, it's a restaurant I ate at. No, bullshit. We're so much more than just a restaurant for one of my companies. But it's good to get to know the sponsors, right? And then promote that sponsor. You know, if you're somewhere, just, you know, hey, take a picture of that and tag them. Tell them that, you know, you appreciate the car being here. Gumball teaches you all that stuff to be respectful to the sponsors. That's a big thing. Do people still drive like having fun and spiritedly? Absolutely. But are you going to be passing on on the shoulder. No, that's a big fucking no-no that some people still can't get through their fucking head. Mm-hmm. If you want to get into car rallies, here are your top 3 things. 1, change all the fluids in your car before the rally. Your brake fluid, your coolant, everything. Mm-hmm. All the fluids. 2, tires. Just put on a new fucking set of tires. You're going to go through it. And don't think you have to have track tires. I use Michelin 4S's because you know what? If it rains, you're in good shape. If it's dry, you're in good shape. If you go to a track event, you're in good shape. You want to do a burnout? They're still chunky enough. You're in good shape. Okay? Number 3, you're not going to have the fastest car, so don't drive like it. The only thing you can have is the cleanest car. Clean that fucker up. And let's throw in one more. Don't think your shit doesn't stink. If a kid comes up to your car, let the fucking kid sit in it.
Oh, yeah.
Let the parents get a picture of it. Mm-hmm. Because that kid, it's going to be on their refrigerator. They're going to brag about it. Someday when they get social media, it's going to be a profile picture because they were in a fucking race car. Mm-hmm. Right? And this is how kids are brought into the car community. This is how they grow up to want to be cars or be car people. Because of that one person that said, yeah, go ahead and sit in it. Mm-hmm. Don't think your car is so incredible. We're not talking F40s and F50s here or stuff like that. Right. We're talking
run-of-the-mill
my Huracans. Car, Dan's car, normal people with cars. And this fucker's got a lot of cars, so I'm never going to take anyone's shit about I have too many cars. But letting kids know that car people are, normal, jump into it because... And a lot of and how it started for me is Shriners Children's Hospital through Crown, letting kids that are fighting for life, and here we are just having fun. It's like this kid wants to see tomorrow. Yeah, you want to sit in the car? Go right ahead. Do it. Yeah. You're not going to hurt it. You're not going to hurt it. You're not going to hurt the interior of.
And if they do, so what?
What are they going to do?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Do you have leather seats in your car?
It's the Alcantara
That's
leather,
exactly what I have. Yeah. Don't tell me yours are ventilated and stuff.
No.
Okay, you're still a man then.
Yeah.
Dude, I've had ventilated seats in a few years.
I was a little worried about being too wide for them at first. Yeah. There's some guys that'll like pay to send them out and get the bolsters widened out and stuff, but I fit in it all right. So it's they weren't as uncomfortable as I thought they were gonna be.
But when dads come up with their kids and they're looking at, dude, let the dad sit in it.
Yep.
Let the kids sit in it. Because it goes a long ways. And when you got out of the car, you're tired. Yeah, you want to get to the room. But take the time to show grace and give thanks. It's running in car rallies is such a privilege. Mm-hmm. It's a privilege. Once you do it, it's addictive. Yep. Cars aren't for everyone. Rallies not for everyone. But I guarantee everyone has their thing in their life that they like to do that keeps them out of trouble. Again, no drugs, no alcohol in my life. So what am I going to do? I got to have some sort of fun. It's not just staring at spreadsheets 24 hours a day. So that's what it is. Have fun, show grace and compassion. Be grateful. Be grateful you're in the moment. Let kids see the car, pop the hood, explain it to them. Tell them what a V8 means versus a V6 versus...
Yeah.
They don't know. These kids don't know. I'm telling you, I have 3 daughters. One of them didn't know how to read a watch, an analog watch, because they've switched all the clocks in school to the digital. And I was like, no way. You don't know how to read an analog watch? She does now. It makes sense after a while, but they don't teach that stuff. So teach these kids some of these things. They don't know what, soon it's going to be, they're going to know what electric car is, but they don't know what an LS7 is. They don't know the story of it. They don't know that it's, did Ford create the LS7? I mean, Ford... versus Ferrari, the introduction of 427 to the movie screen. I mean, great movie, by the way. The only time I was ever really Ford, fuck it. Us Americans because they were trying all to came together. Ferrari, right? But there's so much, and you can see it in their eyes. You can tell the kids are disconnected. They're like, okay, I want to go see that car. But usually the kids and even the parents are, everything you're saying about that is now their most favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I'm getting a Z28. Okay, no, there's so many cars better than a Z28.
So the impression is there.
Yeah, you're the one that told me about it. This is the one I want. That is
the memory,
cool.
right?
Yeah,
like
it's a memory.
For me, the Viper, right? For Gran Turismo 2, that was always my car. And 20 years later, 10 years later, whatever, I get a ride in a twin turbo one, and it's like, this is it. I've come full circle. This is the dream car.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because it just made an impression on me. You know, is there better platforms out there? Maybe.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is the one for me.
Yeah, it is. And if you don't absolutely turn around and look at your car when you're walking away from it, that's not your car then. Keep looking, because you're going to find your car. There is a deep connect with I saw this quote, men love women, but men really love cars. And it's true. I mean, it's true. I mean, I posted my Z28 to troll someone once for sale many, many, many years ago. No intention. Like you said my Z07 was for sale. I never responded to anyone on that. It's not for sale. But it's just, when you love something, it stays. Like a truck come and go, you know, daily driver car come and go. But that Z28 is going to be, I don't know.
Well, it's like to say, like, anybody who's had a C6 ZR1, even if they sell it, they're going to have another one in no time.
Yeah. The most obtainable car when they were like a couple years old is now unobtainable. I mean, it's hard to find those cars, and they're not going to sell them. They're not. And they looked good compared to the C7 ZR1, I think, personally.
It's a little more tasteful.
Yeah, the C6 is a little bit...
It's classy. Gentleman.
Yeah, it's less aggressive, but still just as violent.
It's kind of like if you look at like the Honda Type R, the previous generation has like all these crazy lines. And I mean, personally, I like them, but nonetheless, like that's kind of how the C7 was. It's like, I'll just add a million angles on this.
That's what the new ones are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see. I'm excited for whatever the C9 is going to look like, or the new ZR1. I'm curious. Cause like I drove the Stingray a few months ago, and it was deceivingly fast for a 480 horsepower car, whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It's fast.
It punches you in the face.
Yep. So you'd have to help me out with this. So what is it when you're steering, and it's understeering, right? When you're trying to go into a corner and it's not going in deep enough.
Yeah. Yep.
That's understeering. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah. Yep.
I experienced that in the C8 in not ideal conditions, but the Z28 had better control, I found, and that was the sole reason I just
love
stuck more into the Z28 and sold that car.
I think it's just because there's more weight on those front wheels, so it
I agree.
does that. Yeah.
But what about your Z07? Or have you had that on the track yet?
I have not had it on track. I've missed 2 opportunities, but I have driven it pretty hard. In the G-Force went through the Smoky Mountains, so there was a lot of Tail the Dragon-ish kind of roads, right?
Yep.
To the point that you got it rolled on the window. It's like, oh my God, am I gonna barf? Because you're going through so much, right?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't stop. You in your head, you're like, okay, 10 more minutes this, 10 more minutes this, and 3 hours later, you're still doing it. So you get to know a car really big time then. And that car was fun. And the reason it's fun, there's no shifting, there's no high revving. It's not, with the Z20, you're in that power band and you're trying to stay within it. With the Z06/7, we'll just call it the Z07.
Sure.
There's 10 gears. No, 8 gears. How many gears is it? 8? I think it's 8. But it's constantly, and when you have it in the there's so many modes. So when you have it in the track mode, it shifts harder, right?
Yep.
But if you have it in snow and ice mode, it shifts so fucking smoothly, right? But it's okay because you're not racing, you're just enjoying it. But if you want to get aggressive, put it in sport mode or track mode, and it stays up there. Man, does it sound good. But the steering on it's much different because the tires are wider, the suspension's different on it than the C8. And it's a very enjoyable car. It's a very, very enjoyable car, very violent. It way outperforms. It clowns the Z28 in every single aspect of it. Everything. I mean, it's even got more trunk space. I mean, the car is just, it's great. I mean, it's great. Leather seats, they're vented. You get spoiled by all that shit.
Yeah.
Actual radio. You can have a conversation. My daughter went on one. She loved it. Where Seabass, my middle kid, I took her for a ride in the Z28. She's a little more, more tomboyish. So I think she likes that car more. But the Z06/7, it's flashy. You know, it's new shiny thing. Everyone wants the pictures of it, but it's just not my personality. So
I can see that.
Yeah, you feel a little, it'd be like you in a GT40 or, you know, the Ford GT. It's just, is it great? Yeah, it's fucking great. But is it you?
I hate anything with just 2 seats. So my car is a track pack car. I had a rear seat delete, came that way. I put a rear seat in it. I have kids at home that just want to go, like we go to car shows, shit like that. They want to ride in Dad's Shelby. They want to do this stuff. I need at least 4 seats.
Yeah, and they sit.
So
you can't say Indian style, crisscross applesauce, right?
Yeah, it's a little tight back there. They fit in there just fine right now, but as they get a little older.
So the Z28, the when you're sitting at the seat touches the back seat. I mean, we're talking, it's not a 1/4 inch. So it's kind of funny. It's like, what are you doing? But I get it. To call it what do they call it then? A coupe instead of a roadster for insurance reasons.
I'm nervous for you, by the way, because like, so he's gonna be bringing his daughter down to Texas 2K with us, or is that confirmed?
Yeah, I talked to her. So I mentioned it to her, and then I talked to you guys to make sure you're cool with it. You said yeah, so I told her last night that she's coming.
You're gonna trailer your car though, right?
Yeah, we're trailering down. Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
So when we're down there, we're getting around, and I already told her, I was like, just so you know, if Harris is with us, you're sitting in the back seat. She's like, oh yeah, no, that's no problem.
Yeah. Now, do you have a truck to pull it?
Yeah.
What?
Can I borrow your Duramax?
Yeah, you can.
I got my Super Duty. I got a 2016.
Your Super Cutie?
Yeah.
But you want to get back, right?
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Okay.
I'll tow it all back with the Shelby if I have to.
Okay.
But I'm nervous for you because I'm just sitting here thinking like it's one thing to come out to the cruises and, you know, like, she saw Wheeler's car or whatever. And it's like, you know, see all these, you know, local supercars and hot rods and stuff. When you go down to Texas 2K, dude, that's a different tier. Like you're gonna be very broke by the time she turns 18 is what I was thinking.
I'm like, I've already got that problem. So Rowan's about to turn 14 here in April, and we just had school conferences right for middle school, and it just like teachers would just not shut up about how awesome she was and how good she's doing in school. So I was like, fuck, man. I went home and I was like, she really wanted to go to Texas and I wasn't gonna bring her, but I was like, she's just killing it at life right now. So I was like, you gotta toss her some stuff, you know, show her that that pays off. So I'm like, you know what? We're gonna go down to Texas. You can come with me and go hang out. So
now the car community in Texas
is intense.
It's intense, but like how we try to keep shit clean, they'll have heat tape everywhere. They just don't care what it looks like as long as it kicks out the horsepower and connects, right?
Yeah.
Dude, when you turn 18 down there, you get a Mustang with some welds. Like that's just it's just ready to go.
Yeah. And if it's a Mustang, it's going to have a crash bar in the front for the pedestrians.
Yeah. Well, it's literally just all Camaros and Mustangs down there.
When we were down there for hockey, for the kids hockey in Dallas, I was blown away by all the actual rust-free Camaros and Mustangs. A lot of Mustangs down there, but rust-free, keyword. It's like, dude, at home that car would be full of rust.
Yeah, you'll see like a 1993 Ford Taurus on the road. You're like, there's no way at home that thing would be just.
You're not shitting me. I saw a show on SHO, and I was telling the girls, look at that car. When that car came out, everyone had to fucking have it. What's special about it? Really nothing. But back then, it was really special.
It has a Yamaha
24 valve, wasn't a V6, and it was a big deal back then.
That all of like maybe 300 horsepower.
Yeah, the show. Everyone had to have the show. Fuck, what a life we live. And it's stupid. Like, we're driving down the road, and my wife will just, I mean, she's pulled muscles in her eyes from rolling her eyes at me, because I will freak out when I see a car that's like, dude, you'll never see that car again. You won't see it. Saw remember Eagle Talons?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was the all-wheel drive, the 24 valve, you know, it was the V6 one, the maroon one that looked good. I was like, seriously, you got to look at that car. You'll never see that car again. And she's like, yeah, it looks like an egg. Yeah, and it's just like, it does, but that was all-wheel drive. And
they're insane cars. You know what I saw yesterday, dude? You'll never see this ever on the road. Never, ever. Like, this is something, like, it blew my mind more than a Bugatti. It's one of those, I think they're called Sherpas or whatever they are.
Oh, yeah.
You know those big square things? Yep. I was, like, on Facebook Marketplace, they always look smaller than they really are.
Yeah.
This thing was huge. It was on, like, a gooseneck trailer hanging off a foot on each side. And I was just like, I wanted to get a picture because, like, I was driving by. I'm like, I'm never going to see that again. I'll see more Bugattis than I see one of those again.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous. But no, those Eagle Talents, I got a ride of my buddy's. His was making like 500 wheel at the time.
Well, that's him doing a lot to it. Back then, it was like 200 horse.
Yeah. But they're ridiculous cars. I'm going to take a second to support the home team. Many of you know the podcast is based out of Ratified Motorsports, who make some of the sickest builds out here. That dyno you all hear downstairs has seen some serious cars. Whether you're looking for a standard tune for your cute little Volkswagen to a full-on Supra or RS3 build, you should give Ratified a call to get the sauce. Check out ratifiedmotorsport.com/performance to see what they can do for you. Let's get back to the show.
Now that you bring up Bugatti, I need to stand up for the person that had it. I don't know his name. I just knew him just from the rally. So the last Gumball, I believe it was right outside of Germany. He hit a ladder that was on the road, which we would call an interstate, was on the road, hit it, a ladder, pushed it, like it wouldn't go underneath the car. So he's pushing it, wore it down, got off to the shoulder. People are like, oh, that's fake, it's staged. No, that happened. It was a couple cars in front of us. True story. Didn't even do anything to the car, really. Just cosmetic stuff. Those cars, I thought were just like, okay, would not want one. But after seeing and how like they're built pretty durable, there's a lot of intense stuff in that car. Like I had no idea that the wheels, the tires have to be changed every oil change because they are rated for 300 miles an hour. You don't have to quote me on this stuff, but look at it. Just look at it. There's something to do with the tires that it's not on the wear and tear. It's on the miles. It's like, okay, that tire can't be used anymore. Will it be fine? Yeah, but it's not insured now, or it's not under Bugatti's standards. So when he hit that ladder, you could see that the ladder's ground down. And I just want to say that if anyone sees this and goes to that social media post that anyone says it's fake, it's not fake. Witnessed it, saw it, laughed. It was funny. They didn't give a shit. I mean, to me, I'd be if I hit a ladder on my Z28, I'd be like, fucking A, this sucks. Oh my God. These guys are like, yeah, look at this. We hit a ladder. It was just an aluminum ladder laying on the road. Someone lost it off their truck. And of all the cars that hit it, that was probably the best one to hit it because didn't do shit to it.
It's like on Gold Rush a few years ago, one of the Huracans got a 2x4 through its bumper.
No,
did you ever see that? Yeah. Again, who knows if it was staged or not. I mean, I'm sure somebody will vouch for it, but a 2x4 went through the bumper and then they pulled up to the next stop or whatever. Just crazy.
People lose shit on the highway all the time.
On our rallies, we had somebody lose a splitter to a ladder, I think it was.
We had, when I did some work out in Michigan, I went and stayed out there with a guy who was staying with us, and he didn't strap his aluminum ladder down on his, and he went down. I get home from the day, and he had gone and done his jobs, and there's a ladder folded in half like a taco in the yard. And I'm like, what in the hell happened? He goes, I forgot to strap it down, and a guy in a Harley ran right up the middle of it, hit every single rung right through the thing. Dunk, 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 dunk. Folded the ladder up like this guy never lost his bike, none of that. They pulled over. He was in a group of bikers. They all took pictures of it, had a good laugh, and then went on their way. I was like, that's cool that it happened that way, but you could have killed that guy.
Yeah.
Strap your ladder down.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of goofy shit, how much fun would it be, when they do those intersection takeovers and they're doing burnouts and stuff?
By the way, are the Dodges now. I just want to put that. I think Mustangs are getting in the clear because the Dodges keep hitting
Dodges have been doing a good job of clobbering people. And it's in low key, I don't know why I laugh at it because of my dark humor, but it's funny as fuck when someone starfishes through the air.
Yeah. Tail flap them.
Yeah, it's just like, what are you doing? But it'd be fun to do once without everyone throwing shit at you, It's just... Yeah, birthday burnouts. I did a bunch of birthday burnouts, and once you get that in your system and you remember it, I'll still get the shakes once in a while. It's like you want to go do a burnout, but you just can't do that anymore.
I do a donut every rally somewhere.
That's different. Yeah. I'm saying you just can't you get that itch and scratch it.
Like every stoplight.
Yeah.
I remember I had the GTR out, and this one dude in like an old, something old. I don't know. It's one of those like if I saw like a Nova, I'd be like, oh, that's a Nova. I had no idea what this thing was, and he just did a burnout right next to us, on the way to like Cars and Caves. But you can't do it nowadays either, too, because everybody has their phone and is ready to snitch on you too. Or like the takeovers. It's not because they're having fun. It's because it's a production. It's a movie, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, when you're out rallying, you inspire everybody around you too. There's plenty of cars that'll go and try and run with you for a while, and they try and race you and.
Yeah. I just told the story today when we got into France, because the whole time when I drove in Toronto in the first Gumball, I was scared. It's like, don't go over speed limit. You're a foreigner. You don't want to get in trouble. We went to Scotland and they're like, dude, it's fine. Just don't act like a fucking idiot. Drive with the pace of traffic. If traffic speeding is fine, just don't stand out. Don't act like an idiot. We get to France, and these cars are lined up like at these gas stations, and you're flying by, and all of a sudden you got a civilian car running with you doing 120, 130.
That's the best.
Acting as a blocker for you. Like, staying in front of you, just like keep up. And they have their left blinker on the whole time, so everyone's getting out of the way. Some of the most fantastic roads and drivers were in France. And here I had a way different opinion of France before that day. After that day, I fell in love with its people.
I'll have to rally there because I have your old opinion still.
Oh, man.
I do as well.
Yeah, they're fantastic. I mean, the roads were so nice. Another thing that blew my mind, you think of going through all these countries, it's going to be checkpoint, checkpoint, checkpoint. No, it was like a line on the road that said, leaving France. It wasn't. Now, when you got to Croatia, there was a checkpoint shit, but they got weird shit going on. But amongst the countries that get along, nothing. I mean, nothing. It's cool. I mean, would I do it again? I don't have that answer today. Am I glad I did it once? I hope everyone has the opportunity to do the things I've done, because I feel like I've lived the life of 10 men. And everyone should do a rally, get out of their comfort zone, go somewhere that you just wouldn't go.
Do they do track stuff on Gumball too?
No, not really.
No?
It is 100% point A to point B. The views are unreal. The dinners are unreal. The clientele, the people that come out, the parties. Again, it's not about just getting smashed, but it's like where it's at. The architecture. I mean, if you're into that shit. I mean, I like old buildings. I mean, it blows your mind.
I think after you get past a certain age, architecture is like, whoa.
Well, you don't realize how young the United States is.
Yeah.
Until you go to Scotland.
Good point.
And so one of the guys we're on a rally with, that's what he does for a living. He will carve out a piece of block for an old building. You know, that was around centuries ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you've ever been to the States? And I still remember, he speaks Scottish. I won't try to mimic his accent, which was awesome. I mean, you've ever been in the States? He goes, yeah, I was in Chicago once. I'm like, what'd you think of it? It's fucking new. And it's like, I didn't think of that. He's like, yeah, your oldest fucking building's new. It's like, okay. And it's cool. And it's cool because you see Edinburgh was, you got to do it once. It's lovely fucking people. Again, there's so much in this world that we don't even know about. Some of the coolest rallies I've ever been on, also out west. You ever driven through Utah and Nevada and all that shit? Wow. I mean, there's things, it's like, we've been missing out.
Yeah.
You got to go on a road trip with your kids. Load them up in a minivan. Fly to a city you've never been to. Rent the goddamn Toyota, what are they called, Sienna, or the big minivan thing. Throw the kids in it and drive. We went and saw what are the big trees in the redwoods?
Oh, the redwoods. Yep.
Unreal. Pictures don't do it. Pictures don't do it justice. You see it and it's like, okay, not pushing religion, but this is created by someone. This is you can't just think this shit up. It's cool.
You know what was a magical experience for me when you say go to a city you've never been to and drive? 2020, like we're talking peak COVID, like we're just about to, like just after Christmas, right? We go fly out there to pick up Jeff Storm's Noble. This is my first time in California. We will go to Long Beach or whatever. We're driving along. He's showing me all these food spots from when he was stationed out there. And then pick up the Noble, and we drive 4 hours to Vegas. So we're going through the mountains, the desert.
Death Valley.
Yeah. I've never been in a desert like that. I've never been through, California. Like, just ridiculous. And in this car, that's, basically a kick car.
Yeah, it's a go-kart, yeah.
Yeah, no disrespect, but it's kind of like a kick car.
I know exactly what you're talking about, yeah.
And somehow I fit in the car, by the way. And I'm just like, man, this is just magical.
Jeff fits, you fit.
Well, I'm tall, right? It's a different type of fit. Yeah. But that was just, again, magical. And that's the other thing about rallies. Like, that's when I jumped into SVJ. That was my first time in Tennessee. First time traveling alone. And I'm, going from Chicago to Tail of the Dragon in a bunch of strangers' cars. First time in a Cadillac. First time in a Camaro. All these things. And I'm just like, all these firsts that never would have happened if it wasn't for Crown Rally.
Well, we have cool lakes and rivers here, which is kind of our thing. But so I just flew to Denver and then to LA to get on this cruise ship. And even in LA, I was picturing this whole like just city is all I would see, but it's in a big bowl of mountains too.
Yeah.
And I had to tell people, I was like, we're from the Midwest. It's just flat. It's just, I mean, even when you think you got a ski hill or some kind of a cool mountain, you have no fucking clue what a real mountain looks like.
We have pastures. We have green. We have forests. We have a lot. We have 4 seasons here.
Yep.
Go to San Diego once, and it's the same weather year round.
Yeah, I couldn't handle
that. And it's
that.
like, holy shit, that'd be cool. Then you think about it, it's like,
no man, variety.
I love every 90 days you have a different set of clothes.
Yeah.
Because of the weather.
I have to think about that too. Like I'm deciding, like, do I want to do another set of hoodies, or do I want to start thinking T-shirts for the season? You know, for the monoxide merch. And I'm just like, I like thinking about it. I like wearing a hoodie. You know, once we get into like the negative stuff, even then it's like, well, I get to put on a heavier jacket. This is fun. But honestly, the only thing that bothers me is not the cold; it's the ice. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I hate about our climate. Everything else I can deal with. I can prepare for.
Yeah, I'd say the only thing that freezes up on the sidewalks, the ice, but you know, when it just sneaks up on you and all of a sudden you go outside and you're falling on your ass. That's the only thing
I'm clumsy too, dude.
Are you?
Like my brother, he'll go sliding down the driveway. Like he'll get a running start. I'm not that guy.
You're not that guy.
I'm not that guy.
My dad slipped and fell on the ice the other day, and I'm like, dude, at your age now, that can be like
hip,
detrimental to you. You got to watch your shit, man.
It's crazy.
No, I'm all for the winter. We do a lot. I've got thousands of dollars invested in snowmobile gear. I'm bundled up, ready to go.
That's something we did as kids, but we just got out of it. My dad still has the sleds, but fuck, they haven't moved forever.
Yeah.
Sleds now are not what they used to be. No. Sleds now, you die.
Yeah, mine's the fastest production sled they make. It's a Yamaha Sidewinder, so it's got a 998 turbo. It's great. If you think your car pulls hard, if I get on the lake and I hit that all the throttle all the way down, it is intense.
And if you don't have the spikes on the track, you know.
Oh yeah, I got all that stuff. Yeah.
And they drag race those fuckers too.
They do.
That when I saw that, and I'm like
200 and some miles an hour.
On a snowmobile?
The record is set in Chetek, which is where we have our cabin. So Winterfest is actually this weekend.
Yeah.
They normally have all of the NSSR races, all that stuff there. It's going to be kind of a bust this weekend. We're going up to support anyway, hang out with the bars, you know, do that kind of stuff. But the world record, I believe, right now on a straight line snowmobile is done in Chetek, 220 some miles an hour.
So I'm going to ask an adult question. How do they have? I mean, does their life insurance policy? I'm not making a joke. I'm serious.
I mean,
does their life insurance policy know they're doing that?
Probably not.
Because like Gumball, Crown does it too, but Gumball really does it. So Gumball, you have to give them a typed letter from your insurance company saying that they acknowledge that you're on Gumball and they understand what Gumball is.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's not just that you can't just get an email. They have to have letterhead. It has to be a letter saying they understand it. So when I did Europe, my insurance, I was like, yeah, my agent was like, yeah, it's covered. It's covered. Until it came to typing up the letter. And they're like, yeah, we can't do it in Europe. I'm like, why? Because Europe. I'm like, okay. So that was an unexpected cost for 7 days.
So how does that work?
Do you do like a temporary thing then, like a
10-day
rider or
10-day
something?
pass for Europe, $4,000.
Ooh,
wow,
dumb as fuck.
So if I'm understanding, because like this isn't something I necessarily think about regularly. So would that make your life insurance like void then?
No, this is called the car. That was for the car insurance.
Oh.
When I was bringing up the life insurance, typically if you're doing something fucking stupid like riding a missile at 200 miles an hour, I can't see how your life insurance policy would allow you to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, can you parachute?
They have chutes, but it's on a lake, right? So there's lots of runoff. And these sleds, they don't even look like snowmobiles hardly. They're all like
they're missiles,
flat to the ground.
Yeah,
they're
really
all
low to the ground.
They're super long.
No suspension.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But that's in a quarter mile. They can get up to 200. I think it's 226 is the record or something like that right now.
Yeah. When we did the Salt Flats, I texted Brandon McDonald, my insurance agent. I go, "Hey, I'm at Salt Flats. I know the car wasn't gonna do 200, but it's just a number to say, hey, if I go 200, I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, have fun. I was like, cool. You know, and believe me, I got the 150 and I was like, yeah, no
I want to see 200. I've been to like 165-ish, almost 170 in the Shelby, but I would like to see 200 someday.
Well, you got to do it somewhere. It's tough because airport runways just aren't enough unless you're sticking a lot of money in the engine.
They're not smooth either.
Mm-hmm. No, they're not. They're really not.
Yeah.
But salt flats, you got to have narrow tires. So after you're done, the old timers are all there because it's their hobby. And so many people, this is again, drop your fucking egos and talk to old people because they know. So these old people that run the salt flats, it's anyone's property, but they kind of oversee it and govern it. Hey, what am I doing wrong? Why did I get nervous? Why did I get scared? Because you get scared when you realize you're floating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not floating on asphalt. You're floating on salt, and it's all it is. It's salt. Until you see it, you can't understand it. It's salt. And he's like, your tires are too wide. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah, when you get home, watch all the videos of the fastest cars. They got narrow ass tires and there's no air in them or something. There's solid tires. And you learn so much from these guys. And apparently on the ends of these salt flats, where the ends where it's like determining how far you can drive on it, it gets soft like a swamp. So you have to do it like early in the morning when they're doing these big long runs.
Oh, really?
You learn a lot from these.
And it is just like smooth as hell, or what? The salt flats? Or?
Yeah, it is. But you could, like, just looking at that car in your wall right there, imagine it doing 150. You're straight, but for some reason, all of a sudden, you're going like this, like the whole car is like moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
like you're floating because you're not making contact, and that's why you need the narrow tires that kind of make that groove. I guess. I guess.
Because it's thinner, I can cut through it a little bit easier.
Yeah, you're just floating. Like when it told you, when you take it off, I noticed the cars in front of me, they couldn't get traction, so I built up slowly, kind of like second gear. I went a little bit further than I should have, but again, I was worried about third. Was it going to break loose?
Yeah.
You just got to ease into it. People with all-wheel drive cars are different. You can just
these guys were the fastest there. Rats. Yeah. That RS3 downstairs. He brought that out there, and he was only making like 800 wheel at the time. Yeah. And I think they were the fastest one. I think they did like 192 or something.
Yeah. No one broke two, but there was people in the 180s, and in my head, I'm like, that was like, it was at the time. It was, I want to say I hit the 160 mark. I did a live thing, but I was like, dude, that's still like 20, 30 miles faster than what I'm doing. And at the time, I remember saying to myself, I'm cool with it. The 200 objective I had in my head for someday is satisfied. It's gone. This is close enough. I'm done. I'm not doing it. Because when you're thinking, you have a lot of time to think. But when you're driving up to that speed, you're only focused on what's ahead of you. But as soon as the car moves a little bit, your mind runs with thoughts of why, what the fuck, you have kids, you're married, you have a company, you have employees, this ain't worth it, shut it down.
Yeah.
It flies through your head.
Because even in the flats where there's nothing to hit, if that car turns sideways, it's going to roll.
So they said it won't roll.
No?
Well, help me out. My car doesn't have any pans underneath or anything like that. It's all open.
Okay.
So airflow, it goes through it, right? If the car is sealed, and anyone can correct me on this, it's cool. I don't care. If it's sealed, the car can lift off, from what I got from the old guys.
Okay.
So you want like open wheels. You want it so the air can
escape,
I guess.
Yeah.
So it doesn't lift you up and just throw you into the stars. But if you're going sideways, if the car can, if the wind and everything's good and you don't hit like a divot or something, yeah, you're just gonna slide.
Okay.
But so my tires are wide enough where I really, really felt confident I would just slide. But if I had narrower tires, possibly could have rolled. I mean, I'm not gonna play with it again.
Yeah.
And then when I got home, I called the local shop and Tire Pros, and they let me come over, and I just got this silicone salt stuff that dissolves it or something. Just made everything. Are you still
so finding
slippery.
Salt somewhere though?
No, but months later, you would still like hit a pothole or something, and whoever's following you, dude, you dropped something, and it was like a puff of white, and it was like, it's still salt. But you do get it all out of there. Leaf blowers, garden hoses. I mean, just constantly. I have a lift in my garage, so just put a little tarp down, keep spraying it every once in a while. But it took a good year. But again, it's salt. You can't say you've driven the salt flats and then go, oh, I've never driven it in the winter. Dude, it's salt. It's salt. It's salt, 100% salt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's a one and done experience too, right? Like you did it once, you did it.
Yeah, I did it twice, but
okay.
I didn't do the balls out run.
Yeah.
Because it's just as fun to go out there and first time I ever overheated my car, just doing shitties.
That's right.
But now I fixed that. I put a 4-inch radiator in my car, so now I can do it all day long.
Yeah.
But it's you live and learn. If something happens to your car, okay, fix it, double it up. Never deal with it. Like Wheeler, when he lost his axle, I put 1,500 horsepower axles in my car. Does my car produce 1,500? Fuck no, never will.
Good to overbuild.
But it ain't gonna break.
Yeah,
it ain't gonna break. But doing burnouts and stuff, you can be pretty hard on a car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good to overbuild for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when your kids drive it someday, they're not like, why didn't he do it the right way?
Mm-hmm.
My kids will never say that to me about anything I do. Building's nothing. They're going to say, wow, he did a good job.
Setting the standard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Fastest for me was riding shotgun 189.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I think you have minerals because I can't ride passenger.
Yeah. That was, again, in the Viper. You know?
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. 2000 hitting you in
Were
the
you
chest.
grabbing anything? Were you
having an oh shit moment
did you
at
just
all?
kind of like surrender and say, if it happens, it happens?
The first time I ever did that in my life was riding.
You did it
an
multiple
R8.
times.
No. One time I rode in an R8, and we were. I don't want to say it was. That was my being a passenger and somebody driving fast was in a R8, maybe like $130 or something like that, and that was my first time where I was just like, yeah, if this is how I go, I go. I've smartened up since then, but when you're in a full blown race car like that, you just the best thing you do is just calm down, let the driver focus. Because if you're that screaming guy in the passenger seat, you're both going to die. Mm-hmm. Like I remember, I can't remember if it was me or my brother, he's like, don't scream. Because you're going to put us both in danger.
People don't realize that.
Yeah.
Taylor is probably, his name's Taylor Hafner, the best co-pilot I think you could ever have.
I think I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Yeah, he was a Green Beret.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. Was not a Green Beret. He was airborne. He jumped out of airplanes.
Okay.
Really big on history. Not Green Beret. I screwed that up. Not a Green Beret. He was airborne. So is that a Ranger? Airborne Ranger?
I think you're Rangers, which is a similar program.
So he's a badass, and nothing you could do. I mean, we lost signal once in the Devil's Triangle. That's what the road was called. And we had a thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, meaning 5 is, dude, slow down. 1 is hit it hard. 3 is slow down a little bit for corners, how bad the corner was. And it was a 3 coming up, and we didn't have service. He misread it, and it was a 5. And first time ever, like, foot through the bottom of the thing. Thought we were going to slide it and lose it. Didn't, captured it. So I'm going, click. Yeah, good job. Good save. It's just nothing. There's no emotion. He was fine. Because he's been in worse situations, right? And that's good. And Bill, my second co-pilot, he's good. Nothing gets him going. The wife, love her to death, but she's a nurse. She's worked in OR. She's worked in elective surgery. She's worked in hip replacements. She's also worked in emergency rooms where she's seen the worst of the worst. So if I hammer it, I can feel her getting tense. So Gumball, she was great in Gumball, because the thing I can't handle is you hear it, and that breaks your concentration. But I'm really surprised that the kids, they're all calm about it. They trust me. I've never broken that trust when it comes to the driving. Yeah. You can't break that trust. That's how you get a passenger broken. Broken meaning as a co-pilot. Mm-hmm. But if that co-pilot trusts you 100%, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
My one and only co-pilot is my wife, and she's great. The only one, we went up to the top of Pikes Peak, and we get up there, and she's crying, but she didn't say a word all the way up. And I'm like, what the hell? She's like, I was scared to death, because on her side, on the way up.
She sees rocks.
Yeah, mountain and all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
yeah,
it's all good. I didn't. We're good. She didn't say a word though until we got to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to the top. I was like, man, why are you crying? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But, no, Pikes Peak, we did that twice, I think, for my rallies. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're driving up at normal. There's people that race up it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's intense.
And then the strangest thing that people, your audience, don't know, there's motherfuckers bicycling up it. How?
And why?
You're walking around up there and you're sucking wind and stuff. These guys are bicycling up it. Hats off to them, man.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I remember from the first year I went there to the second year. So I lost a lot of weight that second year, and I was up top. I was running on top of the mountain. Like we were like, you get every once in a while in a rally, you get these people that want to go on a hike.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those guys. They're like, oh yeah, let's go to the top of the mountain. Let's go walk all the way over there. I'm like, why? There's just no need for that.
Yeah, but it's fun. You just until your legs are like, whoa, slow down. Your legs are like, why are they burning? Why are they on fire?
I'm just sitting here thinking like, oh man.
Can you win Gumball? Then how do they do they do points or anything like that? Or are you just in it for the experience? You go. There's no.
So there's written and unwritten rules, I guess you could say. So there's no winner. There's a spirit of the Gumball. And that has nothing to do with anything. And nothing. It's just, are you a cool motherfucker? Did you have some cool experiences? Were you a good person? Shit like that. Those are the winners. But there's a group of guys that are like, okay, this is how we run. Let's go. Let's have some fun.
Yep.
And then, but the grid and stuff like that is kind of like the glory of it, 1 through 5. But that's all on fundraising, donations, and how much you can help raise. And one thing that they do over there that's unique that I wish they did there, that they do here. So their charities are throughout the world. So they have charities for the United States, everything. But their government gives or matches like 25% of what you give.
Oh, really?
For the charities. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because if you do it, you sign a form saying you allow the parliament or whatever it is, their government to add 25% to it.
Well, we give money away here too. It's just in a different fashion.
Yeah, we do. Our government does give away a lot of money for different reasons, not the right ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I was asking is because we're getting back to your hiking up stuff. I like those. So my co-pilot, she's great. So like we've switched before in rallies. Mm-hmm. That's not the seat for me. Like some of them we do. Like if you've done Ruth's rallies, right?
Yeah.
So like there's riddles, there's shit. Like I don't listen to the radio. Like when I'm rallying, we're doing stuff. We're figuring out. This guy will throw like little things where you got to take pictures of certain stuff. Yeah. I've been on River Valley Road Rally where we had to like hike up some staircase and take a picture at the top of some peak. I like that stuff too. It gets you out of the car, gets your legs stretching, do the stuff, and then that's all part of the getting points to win. Yeah. Which is what I enjoy.
My type of rallying is like the Baker C2C. It's point A to point B. Don't get pulled over. Mm-hmm. Don't cause problems. Don't cause drama. Don't have people calling the cops. Get there. Who's first, second, third, fourth, right? Stuff like I love that time clock shit. The pictures and the scenery and the riddles and stuff. Not my cup of tea. Do I respect it? 100%, because there's so many different rallies. Like there's so many different cars. Yep. Find what you like to do and do it. I have found that I love point A to point B stuff, and I love having a purpose. I just don't want to be a person out there driving my car like I don't drive like a douche. I have fun. Yeah. But I don't want to be the person just out there driving fun, having fun. Just, hey, this is selfish. It's only for me. It's my weekend. If I'm raising money for Shriners or Hear the Cheers or Epilepsy Foundation, you fucking feel good about it. And then you feel really good when Brad Hoffvander sets up a parade at the Shriners, and you go to the Shriners and these kids come out. And I know we talked about it earlier in your program here, but it's life-changing when you see a kid that you can tell is going through struggles, smile. And they forget all about their pain. They forget all about the needles. They forget all about the medications. They forget about all the physical therapy. And their hands reach up to your wheel. Mm-hmm. They can't fucking see over the dash.
Yeah.
But their hands touch that. My wheel's used. And they feel that. And they feel the grooves. And they put their hand on their shifter. And they grab, they look at the key. They always look at the key. They don't turn the car on, but they're just like feeling shit, like dials and stuff. And then they, I'll grab the head. You want to put the headset on? It's, we were concerned about COVID and stuff like that, but this is, and I do respect that, you got to be careful with stuff, but it wasn't like I was wiping the headset and stuff to put it on your head. I'm like, I'm safe. You're safe. Put this headset on. We're going to rely on higher powers at the moment and just let you live. And you put that headset on, you press the button, press that red button, because my red button's on the steering wheel. Mm-hmm. And then my co-pilot's is on the e-brake, that red button to talk. And, you press the button, they'll talk, and, and it noise cancels. So it shuts everything off around them so they can hear the voice. And they'll shake their head like that a little bit, like, what's going on? And it's the same thing. It's in like fire trucks or offshore speedboats and stuff like that. And it clicks. Their brain is shut off. That's you feel close to meaning of life.
Yeah.
When you see that reaction, when you see a kid forget all the shit they're going through. Yeah. It's good. And it gives you purpose. Because having fun is good. Mm-hmm. But having fun with no purpose, it kind of beats at you a little bit. You feel selfish, but when you have a purpose and you're having fun, you're helping raise money or do good, you have an excuse then to keep doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't ever let you put the kids in a car and go whip shitties or anything though either?
So, funny you say that. We had some kids in the Salt Flats, and people were doing shitties, and the parents are all there and stuff. And it's like, does your kid want to do a shitty? And Wheeler is good at it too. Wheeler's telling you, man, top 5 human being. Mm-hmm. Some people just won't like people touch their car. It's like
he's so proactive about it. He's like, get in this car.
Get in this car.
Yeah.
Well, the Agave to Go-Go meets that we used to do on Mondays, the kids would come up and look, and there's a guy in a Hellcat, and then Wheeler too. They were taking hits on 12 there,
Yeah, Bud would do that.
Yeah.
So we would do burnouts in the Salt Flats, and that's how I learned my car would overheat on the Salt Flats. Because I just spin around, and the kid, when you hear him giggling, you don't stop. You're just like, I'm going to go another lap. Here we go. I'm going to blow this fucking car up just because this kid's laughing. They're only scared the first loop round. Yep. After that, it's like they're laughing, giggling. And you if you press the button, like you could press their button and hear them laughing because they don't think of being on the radio. Mm-hmm. But you press that button, you hear them giggling and stuff, and it feels good. You just like, yeah, this is good. You're doing good, and that's what matters. And then I've never had a full-blown adult say, can I? Because they just can't, let your inner child out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could tell you got a 10-year-old mentality inside that adult body. Say you want to ride in the car. You want to go for a burnout? No, that's okay. Okay, I'm not going to ask twice. But, yeah, so that did happen once. They brought out some kids to the Salt Flats and did shitties with them and stuff. But
that's cool.
Yeah, it's... When you go to the Shriners, those kids are in rough shape. So you don't know what you would do to them if you put them in a car and actually did a pull or something like that with them.
Yeah, good point.
You'd jar some bones in their body, but yeah,
it's an amazing thing to give people those experiences because, like, if you think about it, like they're gonna remember that for the rest of their lives.
Forever.
Anytime they see like a Camaro, for example, in the future, they're like, oh, I remember.
They'll remember that car, right?
Yeah,
and it doesn't even have to be the exact one because. Yeah. Mustangs, they all look so much different, right? The grill and stuff like that, but they'll know what a Mustang is.
It's like when you see a V6 Charger and you're like, oh yeah, Hellcats.
Doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
I like it when they appreciate that more than stuff like that.
It does happen. It's pretty rare that a kid will pick your car over a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Grady's GTR, that full carbon fiber thing. When some kids walk past that, and I'm like, you don't even know what you're walking past. I mean, this is literally Godzilla. This car is unreal. But again, that's kind of why I kind of tip a hat to Porsches. Their GT2 RS or the 992 GT3 RS is there. And those are hot looking. But a lot of those Porsches kind of look the same. Let's be grown-ups here. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to a Lamborghini or even some of those Ferraris, it's like, wow. Mm-hmm. Or a McLaren, anything with the doors that are opening up sideways and stuff. Kids want to see it because that's what they want on their wall. Mm-hmm. No kid puts a, Camaro or a Mustang.
Speak for yourself, sir.
Well, yeah, but you force that onto your kids. I had a
support the regime.
Yeah, I had a Countach on my wall, and then when I got to the point where, so I have properties, and
yep.
When I got to the point where it's like, if I really had to have one, I could probably get something done. Mm-hmm. But then you start researching it, and it's like, okay, how do you back those cars up? You have to sit on the sill to back it up because you can't see out the back mirror. And that's how they tell you to do it. The maintenance on it, it's how many horsepower? It's 300 some horsepower, 400 some horsepower. It's nothing crazy. Mm-hmm. You got to remember the cars are mastered in the 70s and 80s. Yeah. Again, beautiful works of art. But things have evolved. Yeah. So what was my dream back then? New information comes new decisions. Is not my dream car now.
Yeah, dreams evolve. That's a good way of putting it.
They do. I mean, my dad's dream car is the 68 GTO, and that's the only reason I got that car, because the guy smiles. The guy gets a tear in his eye whenever he sees it. Mm-hmm. And the reason I built it the way I did, well, I didn't build it. This awesome Carnage Garage in Colorado did it. You can't break it. I mean, I've done some crazy burnouts with the thing. My dad just giggles. Like as a little kid, he's getting up there in age. So you can appreciate it. There's a car for every personality, a car for everyone. You just got to find it. You don't even know your car yet. Some people, they don't even know it.
Yeah. That's a good, like when I talk to people who aren't car enthusiasts, I'm like, you just don't know.
You just
don't know what you like yet.
The first car I fell in love with was Nissan 350Zs.
I could see them.
Dude, they're beautiful little cars.
Yeah.
I had one, but I was like, Yeah, I ain't ripping on them. But back then, I didn't have the money to invest in them to really get the most out of them. Mm-hmm. Honda Preludes. Those things were hot back then. They were beautiful cars. But I always went with GM because it was just, they're easy.
Yeah.
They're easy. Oh, you blew an engine? Cool. Who cares?
Well, I've been looking at some of that. So when I picked up this, when you were complaining about traffic earlier, so my Lincoln Town Car is sitting out there. That's why I bought it, is to come here, right? Mm-hmm. You're driving through the cities. It's a nightmare. So I was looking for anything. I was looking at cool stuff that I remember from the 80s and 90s. I was looking for Preludes and those little Honda Civic hatchbacks and stuff like that. But that stuff's starting to become popular again now that all the prices are gone way up on them.
So what year's your Lincoln out there?
2007.
It's a Lincoln what?
Town Car.
So is it the squared one or is it the rounded ones?
It's rounded. It'd be the last generation that they had, but they don't look very far off.
It doesn't look like the Space Shuttle one where it's like all really super.
No, it's basically a Crown Vic or a Grand Marquis.
And it rides like you're.
Oh, like I'm on a cloud.
Like you're in a waterbed.
Yep. It still has a V8 and runs up nice. Yeah. And I'll smash it into some idiot on the highway. I don't care.
Gutless as fuck, too.
That's not too bad.
Come on. What has it got? 351 in it or whatever?
No, it's a 4.6. 2 valve.
Yeah. Yeah, those cars, my parents growing up, like I said, they were Ford people. They had a Lincoln Town Car, and it was very important to my dad. Signature Series.
Oh, yep.
It was a Signature Series, Paul. That's what he'd always say. And, yeah, it was dumb. It was a big, big, big car. You just float.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, Signature Series.
I was going to get something smaller, and then the front center console thing folds up, so I can get the whole fam in it, too. If we want to run uptown in Hudson.
You can put everyone in the front. It's a big bench seat in the front.
Yeah, if I'm trying to go to Agave and it's a pain in the ass to park downtown, I can take that instead of my truck.
Or you can go to Go-Go.
Yeah, we've done that. Whoever you have up there,
Chris.
That guy is, I hope you're paying him well, because he is freaking amazing.
He is amazing.
Yeah.
And how we got him is through you. So he was managing a restaurant, and he was their number 2 guy.
Yeah.
And like everything in life, young people can be frustrating to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
And the rest, no, meaning young people, right? And in the place that he was working with, young people were younger than the people that I have to work with in a full service restaurant. Mm-hmm. So he just finally kind of cracked one day. I was like, just get the fuck out of my face, right?
Yeah.
You can't talk to kids like that. So it got him in trouble. Well, he was a great customer with Agave and its staff. And I just had a meeting with him. It was like, hey, here's where you went wrong. Here's what I can help you with. Here's your growth that you're going to have. Mm-hmm. And here are things that I can see you doing. And he did it, and he's latched onto it. He's a phenomenal human. He's still young. He's growing. But I do see myself, being, working with him for decades. He's someone that, when you have kids, it doesn't mean passing down success, because some kids latch onto that and some kids don't. But you can find individuals in your life that when my time's done, I feel good that he's going to help it continue on. And he's one of them. He's a fantastic human. Still young enough where they don't see the big picture, when they're in their 20s. You don't see that until you hit your 40s. You're like, it's not that you think of an expiration date. You start thinking of there's more to life.
Yeah.
Than what I'm living. Yeah.
I'm seeing that more as I'm doing some traveling, getting out of here and in other places. And, we were just in Mexico, and Puerto Vallarta, I was there, and you're just going through the streets and the stuff, and you're seeing how other people are living, and you're like, oh my God, man. It was just like shit.
They're living off your table scraps, and their quality of life is so high.
Yep. I saw this guy sitting in the dirt on the side of a mountain as I'm getting ready to go up and ride side-by-sides, and the fucker's got a smile on his face. He's just happy as hell. He's living in what some people come travel to just to call paradise, and he's got some shack on the side of the road. He probably shits in a bucket.
Yeah.
Just happy as hell. But I'm like, maybe I'm doing it wrong? I have no idea.
Well,
I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
we're products. I mean, we are the commodity to a lot of things. Like social media is it's such a double-edged sword. It can be good for you, but it's horrible.
Yep.
2 of my daughters, of the 3, are social media driven. They're always their thumbs. Their thumb are the most powerful muscle on them. They're always scrolling. Gotta let the phone eat before you eat. Take pictures, all that shit. But then I got the one kid, Seabass, the middle kid, who it's as if she has like a constant trickle of like THC. She's chill. She's nothing bugs her. No drama. She'll try to do drama once in a while when the other 2 are riled up, but it's like it doesn't work for you, Seabass. She'll be like, "Oh, really, girl?" It's just like it's so awkward for her. It ain't you. Yeah. But so she did get Instagram finally, because I'll send the other 2 daughters or my wife, we call it Fire, funny reels and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And Charlie is the closest to me when it comes to personality, movies, dark humor, jokes. And it's funny. But she doesn't scroll. She'll look at stuff I see, look at a couple of what I send her, look at a couple of other ones past it, and send stuff back. But her screen time's pretty low. She likes to read books and movies. Like, she's proud that she's read like 10 books this year. And it's like,
that's huge.
It is huge, but I'll bust her balls and say, so how many of them are nonfiction? Oh, shut up, Dad.
It's something though.
Yeah. But it
still entertains it
stimulating
builds the brain. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Great kid. Great fucking kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people aren't supposed to say it's my favorite kid, but if she had to be my favorite kid, she would be. I love my daughters. No one can take that away, but it's fun.
I tell them I have favorites. It changes every few seconds, every few minutes.
Yeah,
that's usually what it is.
Yeah, I'm like,
it depends how I feel right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's who's hurt you the least.
Yeah.
Who's actually done what you asked them to do without popping off.
Yeah.
who's broke your heart the least? When it comes to having daughters, it's yeah.
I've got my oldest has got a boyfriend now, and she just wants to go to the movies all the time. Just go to the movies. And I'm like, there's other things you guys can do. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't need to, this is your excuse to hang out. Like, go bowling, go do something else.
Show them how to wrench on a car.
Yeah. Well, so I have some rules. Before they're allowed to go hang out by themselves, I have to meet him. Yeah. Yeah. I want to look him in the eyes and shake his hand.
Yeah.
And then, I just try and be, I gotta understand, I gotta let it happen. But
the handshake
but there's a
thing.
lot of things they can do besides movies, like break up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm supportive of it, but I want to let her know that he better not fuck up.
Yeah, it's when you grow up on a farm and you understand the triple S rule, and you have excavating equipment and land. Yeah. It's not a good combination for a possessive or jealous boyfriend.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the triple S rule?
Shoot, shovel, shut up.
Oh, okay. Are you telling me, or is that what it is?
That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. It's when, shoot, shovel, shut up.
Okay.
I've never been part of any of that shit, but I'm just saying, when you have a farm and stuff like that, and up north, if there's a wolf attack or something like that, it's sometimes farmers have to do things, and
yeah,
that's where the rule kind of came from. Yeah.
Yeah. But going back to the social media thing, I kept it from, like, I let them get phones, and then it was social media if you have straight A's, and you can only pick one. You can't have Snapchat, Instagram, all that shit. You decide which one you want, Facebook, whatever, and that's the one you can have. Well, now I'm working with this guy. We're doing this stuff. I've started Gunna Garage. My wife and I are trying to do this thing here, and I'm like, I could really use the help of a teenager that's obsessed with a phone.
Yeah.
And she sucks at it as much as we do. So
as long as the kid doesn't let it dominate their life, comparison is a thief of joy. And the one daughter works hard and has money. So when I start seeing like special, like she works out all the time. So when you see special protein shakes or something like that, it's like, dude, you're the product. They're selling you stuff off these reels and stuff.
Oh, but huge.
When you tell the kids that, they don't understand it because they don't understand how business works yet. And I should say that's the biggest lie life has ever told, is that, it's business, you wouldn't understand. There's no such thing. It's such a generic term, but every business is basically the same. They're either selling you a product or selling you a service. Mm-hmm. That's it. So when you're looking at these reels and someone looks good in this outfit, they're not trying to show you their tan and haircut. They're trying to get you to buy that outfit. They're trying to get you to buy those shoes. When Jordan comes out with a different colored Jordans, they want you to buy that shoe.
Mm-hmm. Well, now they're putting a link right on the thing too, so
right,
they make it really easy.
Buy it here.
Yeah. That's a tough one now. I've seen people complain about this too, because like everybody's turned into a salesperson. Like, and that's one of the things that I've thought about doing with the show. It's like, I can make a quick, $2,000 or whatever if I just put, this stupid hat on that, first of all, my mother wouldn't be proud of, because they have these stupid sayings or whatever. And I'm just like, I could be there, I could push it, but I'm just like, I'm not trying to peddle bullshit, and that's the problem, is now everybody's a salesperson on TikTok. Like, if I showed you my phone right now, I have over 100, businesses, quote unquote, that have all these drop shipping companies that just want me to do a video of their product. Like, one of them was like Connect 4, like a Connect 4 knockoff. It's like, how does this even relate to my channel?
Yeah, but the reason you're not doing it is because of integrity.
And you know what? That's the tough part sometimes. It's like, man, if I could just sacrifice 20% of integrity, I'd be 300 times richer. But it's like, I'd rather work hard and get there the right way than have this flash that comes just as fast as it goes.
But you want to be able to sleep at night going, I didn't sell out. I didn't, you did it the right way.
These hoodies, like the one that you got, it's like, I was supposed to have those 6 or 7 months ago, but I'm like, it has to be done right. I sampled a bunch of shirts from a bunch of different companies. I'm like, this feels like garbage. I'm like, it feels horrible. The color's not right. Let's keep this going, and not just those hoodies, but like previous shirts that I wanted to release, but I didn't, because I'm like, it just doesn't look right.
Yeah. Well, you have the approval of a 13-year-old girl, because she put it on and she was like, wow, this is nice. And then she wore it to school the next day and got tons of compliments.
That's what I'm saying.
That's another thing, but it's cool today, dumb tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's, New Balance shoes are all of a sudden fucking cool again. Yeah. And I'm like,
are they? So it's not just a Corvette guy thing anymore?
No, it's not. And I'm trying to tell them, like, you understand how dumb you look for Christmas that the wife got them all these, except Charlie, the normal one. But she is. She didn't get New Balance shoes because it's like all of a sudden it's cool. And it's like, those are not cool.
Yep.
And the kids, they look you dead in the eye and go, you don't know. And I'm like, when I got a Corvette, first Corvette I've ever owned, how many of my dumb fuck friends were sending me stupid ass shit for coupons for cutoff jeans or, Fleet Farm coupons and oh, dude, you got to get your New Balance shoes. No, I don't need to get New Balance shoes. You got to get grass stains on them. Or, or they're like, no, Paul's classy. He's got to have the Nike Pegasus, which is the Nike version of the, right? Is that what they're called? Pegasus?
I have no idea.
The Nike version of the New Balance shoe.
I bought my shoes because they have carbon fiber on them. I mean, I really don't.
Yeah.
Those will age.
Yeah. It's just, The reels and algorithms are telling our kids what's cool. And that is the dumbest shit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, like you said, was it cool today, dumb tomorrow? Mm-hmm. That's why I wanted to do something that I wanted to do. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to try to do this to appease what's hot right now. I just want to do something cool. And people I can't remember who it was. They complimented my logo. They're like, that's retro. I'm like, that's what we were going for. Like I styled it over, I think it was like Sunoco or something like that. I don't know. We were looking like me and my graphic designer went back and forth and we were looking at, what's cool in history. Because that stuff's going to make a comeback. Every 20 years, the fad comes back.
It does. You're absolutely right. Parachute pants. I mean, I've seen surf style jackets again. You know what you're going to see? You're going to see those starter jackets for the NFL where they zipped up in the front with the kangaroo pouch. Kangaroo shoes. I'm surprised they haven't come back yet. These are things a little bit before your time, but they were there. But yeah, you got to be especially with your stuff, with your merch and stuff like that. You got to be green and growing, or you're ripe and rotting. You got to constantly be moving. And that's the thing I try to tell my kids. When you come out with something, right, like that logo or something where I'm talking like car colors and stuff like that, that was designed and they knew they were going to drop that like 3-4 months ago. Mm-hmm. And they've already got what's next coming down the pipeline.
Fast fashion.
Yeah, it's not, this is cool today and it's going to be cool in a year from now. No, Stanley mugs, they're not all white now again. I mean, I remember when one of the Dars got Candace one, I'm like, you have a nice Yeti coffee. What's this Stanley? Why? It's got a handle. And all of a sudden, every motherfucker has a Stanley. Yeah. And I just pissed off half your audience probably because I said that everyone's got a fucking Stanley. But now they're all different colors. It's just...
Well, and some colors are rare, so they're going for like shit tons of money.
But we're all girlfriends here. What's it going to be like in 3 years when you're walking around with a Stanley? Oh. You're going to be like, fucking loser. Because it's going to be like, those aren't cool anymore. Everyone has those. It's just the way it's going to be. When Yetis came out, it was cool. This is a good durable product. Yeah. Good. I only have to buy it once. But I'm telling you, if you have any of the new colors, it's like, hey, oh my God, nice Yeti, douche. All of a sudden it's a douche product. It's like, no, it's a great product.
My dog's got a Yeti bowl, by the way.
I will confess my dog has one too, but
well, my parents just balled out on this dog.
Yeah, but we take care of our dog. Like my dog and I, we're best friends.
Yeah, Doug and
I kiss my dog more than I kiss my kids.
Yeah.
Oh, every morning I'm drowning.
Yeah. But that's just the way it is with stuff. It's cool today and questionable tomorrow.
Well, like you said earlier, it's like comparison's a thief of joy. It is. Right? If you can just humble yourself and just be like, hey, I'm just doing this because I like it. Mm-hmm. Life is so much like for example, the new style of highlights that I do, right? It's because somebody who's been crushing it a little harder than I have is doing it. I'm like, well, what are they doing that I'm not? That's where comparison's a good thing, right? It's like, how can I improve? But when you start looking at other people and you're just like, oh, I'm dumb, or oh, I've got a stupid Yeti, just do what you like.
Well, so the two differences right there. One is research and development. You're researching how to better yourself. Yeah. Comparison when you're like, I want that color Yeti, that's you wanting that. Yeah. That's not bettering your fucking life. Mm. That's something you get and you're like, oh my God, I'm complete. No, I'm not. Put it on the shelf. What's the next thing I got to buy?
Yeah.
Fucking dumb.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like if you ask yourself like, will this make me happy in 2 months? If you can ask yourself that question, or if am I gonna care about this next week? Like I made a pretty dumb mistake a few days ago, and I was seething over it for like a day or two, and then we're on day 3 or 4 now, and I'm just like, all right, you know what? People won't remember this in a week.
Right.
Let's just move on.
It's the same way with drama. Is it going to matter in 6 months from now?
Yeah.
And it doesn't. People don't realize how people don't care. It's every single person you run into in your life has issues. They're going through problems. They're fighting battles and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Don't add to it. Don't add to it. Don't fucking add drama to someone's life. Mm-hmm. Just stay the fuck out of it and move on. The greatest business to get into is staying out of others. And people will try to push their drama onto you. Mm-hmm. And all you got to do is, yeah, cool. And just walk away.
Yep.
And I've learned that through my daughter's sports. I mean, when it comes to athletics, boys have to play hard to feel good. Girls have to feel good to play hard. And it's a totally different thing. A boy can be in a bad mood in a hockey game and go out there and bust ass. But if you have a girl with a bad attitude going to the hockey game, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, it's almost like fuel for boys.
Yeah, it's fuel.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, like even the best workouts are when you're angry.
Yeah.
Or heartbroken or something like that, or disappointed.
Dude, I almost had abs when I was heartbroken. I was like 2% body fat from actually having abs for the first time in my life. I was like, fucking A, we're almost there.
No.
I can clean the whole damn house and rebuild the damn thing when everybody's pissed me off at home. I think they do it on purpose.
Yeah, my thing is creating something. Yeah. And I'm telling you, it's a curse because when you create a company or a building project or something like that, it doesn't go away when you're over it. Mm-hmm. It's still there. It's like
that's sort of my struggle is right now. You know, like I have friends that are like day traders, and I'm like, yeah, but you're not creating anything. And granted, yeah, some of them, do get rich, like well, rich, quote unquote. But I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I want to create something. Like, yeah, I can go get a funded account, and all that. That's cool, but even with this, like, I had to ask myself, like, am I creating something of value? And I feel like for a lot of people that listen to this, I think, I don't know, 300 or 400 listens an episode at this point on average. It's like, the way I think of it is like, these people are listening for this for 1 or 2 hours. I'm like, all right, I'm creating value here. If people are coming back, I have something. And then
there's reference points in here too.
Yeah.
People will remember something and reference it.
Dude. What blew my mind is when I had Sam Moraine on this podcast, and then I think a month or maybe a few weeks later, I went to a car show, and his dad walked up to me. I had no idea who he was, but I have to like be like, all right, is this somebody I just forgot or something? Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, I saw your episode with Sam. I'm like, he never talks at home, like, but to see him open up on that, like on the podcast, that was really cool. And it's like, I'm like, man, I have people walking up to me all the time now. It's so weird.
People get to know you on this stuff, so I've done that stuff too.
For better or for worse.
Right, you see YouTube people, stuff like that, you meet them all, you feel like you know everything about them. They know nothing about you.
Nothing, right.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're a regular person. And the same, and everybody that comes on, it's just, as long as you keep yourself humble, I think it's really fun. Like, you just get to know people and just have cool stories. That's why I always tell people before I hit record here, it's like, it's just a conversation.
That's it.
That's all it is. Like, I remember people would get fidgety about the cameras at first. You forget they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
It really is.
It's a room full of conversation. No one on the computer out there is going to be trying to use this as a subpoena in court. It's have fun with it. Open up.
What is it? Statute of limitations, I think it's called.
Yeah. Put your story out there. Let people, get to know you a little bit more. And
that's why I love having we've had a couple of old guys on here too. Like, in the, what is it? The final 9, but maybe not the back 9, like the back 2, like the last 2 holes of life. Right. And it's like, I want to have more of that on because, just get those stories out there.
Grab their experiences.
Yeah. Experience. Like you said, it's like, talk to more old people.
Yeah.
Dude, like, that's why a lot of people tell me I'm a little more mature for my age. Now, granted, I'm 24 now, so I would get that compliment a little bit less now. But, like, when I was 18, 19, 20, it's like, I'm talking to these people that were twice my age. And it's like, I've learned so much. And I value those friendships more than, the boozers I was hanging out with in college. It's just nothing.
When we hang out, I got to...
Well, you're my only boozer friend.
Well, I'm not even really a boozer. Yeah. Like, we'll go out and have a few.
Every rally, dude, you're my worst influence.
Yeah.
I love it. It's fun.
It's the only time you can really let loose a little bit sometimes.
Yeah. Those parking garage beers are like the highlight of my life. Right? So, like, not the highlight of my life. That was a really the wrong way. But, like,
one of the highlights of my year. The kids.
Right? So, like, we're there. We've just done running all day long. We're sitting there. We're standing by our cars. We're bullshitting.
It's something
we're having
to look
a few
forward
drinks.
to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you prefer that over to clubs? Or
I prefer... Yeah, I'm not a big club guy. I mean, I'll do it, go see people and stuff. But no, I am about... The shit I love is, getting a bunch of guys together at a car rally and you're playing left, right, center, president's an asshole, a card game, shooting a shit without a lot of loud music around you, so you can hear each other and enjoy each other.
Yeah, the loud music is too much.
Yeah, the loud music gets old, but where you're at, the scenery, you just take it in, because there's a lot of places in life that you'll never be at again. You don't realize it till you get a little older. It's like, oh, am I ever going to come back to this place? So just check it out a little longer.
I was thinking about that yesterday, walking in Minneapolis, like, because I took a wrong turn, so I ended up walking an extra half mile the wrong way, and there was no right. It's a rant. But I was thinking, I'm like, I'm never gonna walk down the street ever again, never ever. So it's funny that you brought that up.
Yeah, just look around and take it in. I mean, we forget so much in life.
It's like when we had our rally to Niagara Falls. Like, these people were like, I never would have fucking driven out here.
Right.
18 hours.
Yeah, no one ever says I'm gonna go hang out in Buffalo.
Yeah,
but you go to Buffalo and it's like, if you go to a football game there, which I have not done yet, but it's on a bucket list. I'm not even a big NFL guy, but the way that city comes together for football games, who the fuck wouldn't want to be part of that kind of atmosphere? It's when people are passionate about something, find out why they're passionate about it. Check that out, because it's 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a lot of fun. Went to the WPHL game, the women's pro hockey game. It was a fucking blast. Can you get a bunch of narrow-minded guys together that don't have daughters? No, you're not. But if you understand the struggles that girls go through when it comes to playing hockey, how all they want to do is be treated equal, even when it comes to the fucking hitting and shit, and they can't, they're kind of handcuffed, and you go to that game and they play rough with each other. Yeah, it's cool. It's emotional because they're doing something they love. Passion and love does not give a fuck what your gender is, right? It's if you are passionate about football, pro wrestling, fucking hockey, whatever it is, soccer, let them have fun. Let them play. Let them play hard.
It is, as a girl dad myself, there's a lot. It's so much different than the sports are kind of a hard one to get. My daughter signed up for the flag football they do in River Falls. Yeah. Freaking killing those boys out there playing football. Yeah. There's no women's football team or league or anything like that. I know she's stuck with soccer. That's what she really likes. So we're traveling all over doing that. But yeah, it's a whole different animal than the way they treat boys sports. Yeah. But
yeah, especially in the car scene, which is why I'm super stoked that your daughter's getting excited about this, because I just know 4 years from now she's gonna have a stupid Mustang and it's gonna be a problem. And
she's 13 years old. She's already driven my GT500.
There you go.
So,
yeah, and you're too young. You don't have kids yet.
No, so I've been single for a hot minute.
Yeah, people they don't even teach you that. They always teach you when you fall in love and you get your first heartbreak. They don't teach you the total level of different emotion when you have a kid. I mean, you'll run through a wall for them to protect them. You always want to make sure they're good and safe, but it's like a house plant. You got to let it go outside to grow and get bigger and stuff like that to keep it from.
I have a bamboo I've had for 5 years, and when I see the leaves turn yellow, I get nervous, so. But no, so we just got my first ever dog, right? And it is not the same as kids, but the stakes are higher, as Bill Burr says. Mine bites someone, gets put down. Yeah. But point aside, it's I'm constantly thinking oh man, gotta make sure there's no fucking chocolate around, stuff like that. Again, not the same as a kid, but my sense of responsibility has quadrupled in the last few months. So I can only imagine what it's like with a kid.
But a dog's always happy to see you.
That's what I told my dad. I'm like, man, he's never gonna have bullshit. Yeah.
Kids are in good moods. They're in bad moods.
All right. Yeah. So that's 2 points for dogs so far.
Yeah. They don't like to be called out on their shit.
Okay.
and they listen. They listen to the advice you give them, but they don't always take it.
No, I'm trying to teach right now the own up to your shit, because I think it might be just a Deckard trait. We're never wrong. Yeah. So that my kids are going through that right now, and I'm like, dude, you clearly fucked up. Let's just own it and let's not do it again. So that's been a hard pill to swallow at my house right now. Oh, it was this or that or this. I'm like, no.
Always an excuse. Yeah. It's never the person in the mirror.
Yep.
It's true. What else you want to talk about?
Well,
how long we've been at? I don't even know how long we've been at it.
We just cracked 2 hours just a couple minutes ago here.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
Well, that's the nice thing about this podcast is I always used to say this is we start with cars and then see what else we get up into. And I feel like, I don't know. Tim made a good comment to me the other day, DeSestro. He's like, I'm pretty good at probing. I don't know. I guess allegedly, I don't know. Good at starting a conversation.
No, he was another one of those old guys that we had on, and that's I told Harris, I was like, this guy has stories. He's been in the automotive industry forever.
We could have kept going a while there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I was sick 2 months because of him. Worth it.
So I'll tell you something weird that not a lot of people know. I have an incredible obsession with Star Wars Legos. Mm-hmm. It's fucking stupid. Yeah.
Mine's the speed ones, the car ones.
The car ones, yeah. I have rare ones. I've gotten some car ones as gifts from people that don't realize that I'm only into the Star Wars.
Yep.
You know, I got the Z28 Camaro. I got the NASCAR Camaro as a gift and stuff like that. Someone sent me the Porsche one that they had. But, yeah, Star Wars Legos, that's stupid. I'm way less into guns I used to be. I used to be into targeting and stuff, but I can't shoot a gun without cleaning it, tearing it apart completely. That gets old after a while. Mm-hmm. So I don't hunt.
Yeah.
I shot a deer once and true story, I had to call my sisters to come gut it. I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't even proud of myself. Dropped it, one shot. And I was like, well, fuck, that didn't feel good.
That doesn't, so I have the same problem, right? And as I'm getting older, it's getting worse. And my grandpa had the same. We grew up hunters all our lives.
Yeah.
And he got a cat, and that's what screwed it all up for him. So, I mean, you get to where you appreciate life, you like animals, deer are beautiful, but I'm not doing anything any better when I'm sit down and eat a cheeseburger. So, like, when I do that, all of it's to the freezer. To me, it's hunting, gathering, it's filling the freezer stuff. It's less processed shit I got to buy from the store. So that's where I try. I don't do it for sport.
Again, and this is where I'm just a hypocrite fucking douche. If I see, when you see lions attack gazelles, it's like, I want to drop that lion. You see a bear attacking something, I want to drop that bear. And it's like, God damn, my cat will run after a fucking squirrel, and I'm not mad at the cat. You know? It's just again.
You'll set a mouse-trap to keep him out of your Z28.
Yeah, right. But it's just it's such a hypocritical thing, because then it's like, oh, I love a steak. What the fuck has a cow ever done to you?
Right.
And I get they're beef cattle; they're not actually dairy cattle. But I grew up in a dairy farm, and I know how well they're taken care of. I know how well they're taken care of. When people are like, oh, they're abused, the fuck they are. They're loved.
Yep.
They're loved. Farm animals are loved. You'll never see. No, you will see it, but you will rarely see a farmer not just love the animals, like petting them, making sure they're good. When they're sick, you actually, you worry about them. Mm-hmm.
Circle of life.
Plenty of times, my father was in the barn for long hours of making sure everything was okay. Mm-hmm. I can tell you that. I've seen it. I witnessed it when I was a child. But my dad also taught me, if a dog bites you, you put a bullet in its head. That's life. You don't allow certain things.
Yep.
If a bull, when we had dairy cattle, if a bull hurt my grandmother, a bull kind of went after my dad one day, and they were gone. There's just no room for that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I'm a huge hypocrite because I like steak, but you just want to ignore it. You want to ignore how it's slaughtered. You want to ignore all that. Mm-hmm. When you see a bison head and you see that little tiny round 22 circle in its head, that from the steel rod putting it out, mm-hmm. you ignore it. What's that? No, it's nothing. That's how they killed it.
Mm-hmm. I feel like once again, as I get older, I'm in this weird growing phase of my life, mm-hmm. and I appreciate things more and more. So I remember Rogan talks about this all the time on his podcast. When he gets Cam Haines or whatever those guys on, they talk about hunting and all that. When you're gutting the animal and it's warm and all that, it's that turns some people off. But I feel like I had to question with myself. I'm like, how would I feel about that? And it's you kind of appreciate it more. Less food goes to waste.
100%. Yeah.
You respect it more. You don't want to burn the meat. I don't know.
No, I get. I'll eat the heart, and I don't know. I wouldn't go to the grocery store and buy a heart. But
I feel like I would do that. Yeah, I had liver for the first time. I think a year ago.
I fucking love liver.
Oh, I hate liver.
It has to grow on me a little bit more. I think I'll love it if I try it a few more times. It's one of those things. I had beer. I started liking it after 5 or 6, mm-hmm. but maybe it's because you start getting a buzz. But I'm not a beer guy. I just can't.
But back to your story, they leave the gut pile for other animals.
Yep.
Yeah.
They take all the meat. They don't just throw. It's not for sport. It's not like what wolves do, where it's just kill it and leave it.
We donate our hides too. They make gloves and stuff like that out of it.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of good that comes out of hunting. It's just not my thing.
Yeah. I feel like at some point I'll try it in my life. I haven't, which is I think like what 30% of people in Wisconsin got hunting licenses or something. Like it's the highest.
It used to be
in the country.
more. It used to be way more, but than it is now. Do you shoot at all?
I learned how to shoot a couple of times. So like I went to Vegas, shot a few guns with Jeff Storms, but that's the last time.
That's
I
some
shot.
Younger people, and I'm not classifying you as younger people.
I'm in the group,
I'm just asking.
though. Yeah, I'm like on the border of Gen Z and whatever the fuck is next. I don't know.
Yeah, where they're just out of touch with it.
It's ridiculous. I remember I was doing some rally scouting with someone, and the chick in the back seat was like, she didn't understand that. Like she was like, I think she was like clowning farmers or whatever, and I'm just sitting here thinking like she had no idea of the concept that the food came from these rural cities. I'm just like people become so disconnected. It's kind of crazy. Like we're straying from a car podcast here, but it's so true. It's like it sucks to see, and I'm glad that people like Rogan are out there because it makes you think about it a little bit more.
And the sad part is his voice isn't heard by a lot of people that need to hear it because when you get quickly categorized or classified, and then you're what is it?
Compartmentalized.
Yeah, when you're put in a shelf, let's say, with a title on it, you're not going to lose it.
Yeah,
I mean it's tough, and I think Rogan in almost every episode has something that everyone can learn from.
Yeah,
but he's not going to get his message out there. That Dr. Jordan Peterson, another guy. When you listen to him, there's messages that are like, holy shit, that resonates with Earth. But no one can hear him because
he's on this side of the table.
He's on this side. You just get, oh, you're here. And sometimes people just get a grudge, like in pro wrestling, where it's like, okay, you want me to be the villain? Fuck it, I'll be the villain. And it's sad because they have so much to offer mankind.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get out of that. I think the younger generation can see through the bullshit, where my generation, we're pretty thick-headed and narrow-minded. And I do have a lot of hope for a younger generation. They do think they know it all, but if I remember right, my dad thought we all knew it all. We were smart asses. So I think it's something that keeps kind of getting spilled over. But I do have faith because my daughters, I've taught them that you got to listen to both sides. No one's right, no one's wrong. They'll say something like, fuck Biden or something, fuck Trump or something like that. And it's like, so why? Challenge thinking. Trust but verify. It's if someone tells you to do something, they can't explain why, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
That's a big one. When you
get
put
an
someone
explanation.
On the spot. Yeah.
Get an explanation. Why don't you like this? When it comes, and let's just use presidential race because it's just easy. It's very
it's
easy.
hot. It's coming up.
It's hot. I am afraid that so many people, speculation, so many people vote because they don't want the other guy.
Yeah.
Right? They're not voting for who they like. They don't like the other guy. But at the end of the day, you have two 80-plus-year-old white men. Trump's over 80, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But come on. You can't talk about your policies and what you're thinking and stuff like that when you have a career politician that's over 80 and a career entrepreneur that doesn't really know a lot about politics, knows how to use it, knows how to work it to his advantage like all politicians do.
Yeah.
But career politicians just suck in general. I mean, they just suck. How do we get a normal person, which it's impossible. Yeah. I don't care if you're right or left. And I get a lot of heat when I lean right. I don't care. I'll say it. I lean right. I'm socially very, very.
Nobody's
left.
Ever fully on one page. It's rare, very rare to be one or the other.
Well, that's where we've gotten now, though. Everybody, like you said, has to be in one or the other.
Do I want someone in pain? Not at all. Not at all. Do I think someone should have welfare and food stamps? Yes. Okay. Yes. Do I believe I should be paying for someone's pension in Ukraine? No. Do I think there's something bigger going on? Yeah. Do I know what it is? No.
Yeah.
So I'm not a conspiracy theorist. You're never going to hear me going, the earth is flat. because it's not. But I'm just not going to be jumping on these trains of they're hiding something. No, okay. Think that. I'm not wasting my time on that. I want to spend time with my family and shit.
That's the problem, is you'll run yourself freaking ragged.
Dude, you could make something up in your head and find something on the internet to support it, and you will fucking believe it.
Like Chevy's better. Yeah.
Well, are you a Ford guy?
I've been turning him slowly and slowly.
Lately, I have. No, I grew up Mopar. So
you're a Mopar guy?
My dad partially owns a dealership, so I grew up with that. So, well, eventually, but either way,
you know, like in
low credit score team.
In real life, so we Ford guys and GM guys kind of rip on each other.
Yeah.
But it's always funny when you guys try to like.
They show up to the party.
The conversation. It's like, dude, shut up. Every car that you have out there is at 18% interest on weekly payments.
Yeah, but they're out there.
No. You're right. They are out there. But back to the thing, it's just, and people don't realize how simple the world is. Think globally, act locally. You will bitch and have such high opinions about the national level of government, but I have been to city council meetings and I'm the only dumb fuck in the room.
That's the thing is like I'll be in these group chats and people are just popping off and I just sit here thinking like, what's the solution? Like, I'm not going to the local stuff. I should be.
You should be.
I think about it maybe like once a month whenever I see like for example, I start bitching about whatever's on the news and I'm like, well, what have I done about it?
Yeah.
It's like, I can't complain. I haven't done anything about it.
I challenge all of you listeners, go to one local town meeting or city council or village council, planning commission, whatever you want. And I promise you, when you walk in, someone on the board or someone that's there is going to come up to you and say, what are you here for?
Or if you want to just drop in,
I'm just here to see it. Oh, you're not on the agenda? Nope. They're always like weirded out by it. They are.
Yeah.
They're weirded out by it because usually I have to go, it's for a liquor license or permit or some bullshit. But when you go just to see what's going on for no reason, or there's something on there, like the wife will say, hey, go check this out. I'll go there and sit there and it's like, what are you here for? Just check out the meeting. Oh, okay. You know, because there's no problem with it, but there's no one else there. And if there is this one other person that's on the agenda, we don't pay attention to this stuff. You know, we try to pay attention to the what's going on way up here. We're not paying attention to what's going on down here.
Yeah, and then you're surprised there's a new roundabout in town. It's like, who approved that?
Or they want to replace your green mill with a car wash. Have you seen that one?
Funny you say that. I did have a conversation.
Can you stop that?
No, hey man, I'm not. There's no mafia. I don't know anything about that.
Oh, well, I'm confused here.
The Hudson, there's speaking of the agenda things, there's something I would never know. Again, a lot of them are live on line now too.
Yeah.
So I watched one the other day in Hudson. Somebody wants to buy Green Mill, which is probably not doing well since Milwaukee Burger went in the same parking lot. But
it's an aged concept too.
Yeah, what we don't need is a car wash.
So
they want to put a car wash there.
Yeah. So they want to put a car wash there. And there's a car wash less than, would you say a 5-iron of golf? I don't golf that much, but a 5-iron
in several directions.
Well, yeah, the other one's kind of run down, but there's a lot of car washes in Hudson, Wisconsin. But there's also 10,000 cars in Hudson, Wisconsin, and we all like to keep our shit clean. Most of us do. So it'll just be a battle. I don't get it. I don't get involved with that. But is it a smart idea? No. But I've done some stupid shit. I've opened up businesses that were like, this ain't gonna work.
You got a new one now too, the pizzeria, or what's the deal with that?
So it's I like to challenge people on their thinking, and you got to get them to grow. And Sutton is my son. I adopted him when he was like 6-ish. And he's been in my life, but he's at that age. He's in his middle to late 20s, where it's like the house plant that's in the house. If you leave it in there, it's not going to grow. You got to get it outside and plant it outside and let it see what it can do. And this is a small challenge. Hey, make me a pizza that is scratch made, everything. I was not thinking the pizza sauce. I really thought pizza sauce just come out of a can like everyone else. But he made the sauce from scratch. How'd you figure it out? YouTube videos. That's the thing I give young people credit for. Back then, we had encyclopedias and we had to talk to old people. You guys just go to YouTube for everything. And
And the old people are there too, which is nice.
You're right. But you watch hours of video to figure something out. Yeah. So he comes up with these 3-4 pizzas, right? And I'm like, okay, this is the things I'm looking for. I'm looking for a thin crust. I'm looking for light. So after you eat it, you're not like, fucking, hey, I wish I didn't eat that. You want Dave
Portnoy to enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're right, kind of.
Yeah.
But I want it to be so it's not we're competing with hand toss. We're not competing with deep dish. We're not competing with Neapolitan. We're just doing a personal pizza that's scratch made that is you're going to feel good after eating. Mm-hmm. So we came up with these things, but again, the youth versus me, it's some people will have 10 meetings to accomplish one thing and then they don't get it fucking done. I just have to have a thought and let's get going on it and start it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But because that's what works. Throw a bunch of shit at the wall, see what works. So we get it up and running and it's going good. And then next Wednesday, I'm like, here are the 2 things I want you to come at me with. Come at me with a bacon chicken ranch pizza, and then that Chris kid that works for us did a popper pizza, jalapeno popper pizza. Ooh. So he makes them, and they're right there. Like, okay, this is good. Do it. I'm taking pictures, and I give it to Eric, my assistant. I'm like, put these on DoorDash. Let's run them tonight. And Sutton looks at me like, whoa, what? I'm like, yeah, why can't we run them tonight? Well, I haven't really gave it any thought other than this. I'm like, the people are going to tell you if they like it or not. It doesn't matter if you like it. If it doesn't matter if I like it, do they fucking like it? Because I have put my heart and soul into some features that have fallen over like a fart in church. And it's just like, it didn't work. And then Bill will come with a feature and it's like, this is going to work. And I'm very anti bringing out of a fucking bag frozen product. But some things are. Cowboy corn bites. Mm-hmm. Macaroni and cheese bites. No one makes them. If they tell you they make them, they're fucking lying. They get it out of a bag because it's impossible to make them consistently. Mm-hmm. And people go crazy for them. And it breaks my heart because it's like no thought was put into that. Mm-hmm. We found it. We discovered it. We brought it in. That's it. There's no love put in it. There's no thought.
Meanwhile, somebody's shoving cream cheese into a jalapeno and wrapping it in bacon and taking a lot of work into making a Twinkie.
I'm glad you brought that in. So I went to go look at because my wife used to rally too and tell Larry.
Yep.
And she, it's not, I don't tell my wife what to drive at all. I just help her get what she's looking for. She wanted a ZL1 1LE. We went down to Dallas, to a Ferrari dealership that took one in and it was cheap as fuck. And while we're there, they didn't tell me, but they had the matching ZR1 in the back. I'm like, why didn't you tell me that? Why didn't you? Because paperwork's all done, and they were selling it for cheap. I'm like, why didn't you tell me you had that? And he goes, Mr. Rhodey, we sell Ferraris.
This is trash.
Yeah, we only push one at a time. We're not going to be pushing these cars. I'm like, I totally get it. Show me this coolest car. So they show me shit that I would never know what it is. Mm-hmm. Just, millions and shit like that. Cars. Crazy cars. Mm-hmm. And here's this beautiful orange, the wing on and everything, ZR1 2019. Wow. And yeah, it was nuts. It was crazy.
What did they have it listed for? Any idea?
$100,000.
Really? Those are going for like 200 something.
Now they are. But this was $100,000. I go, what do you sell for? About $100,000. Well, how'd you get it? Well, the guy wanted this, whatever car it was, and he brought him in. And he didn't care what he got for trade-in. I got that ZL1 1LE for $52 or something like that. And at the time, they were $80,000 car because it barely had any miles on it. Mm. So the point is, we go down to get that car. So we stop and get a barbecue shop to get some food, right, on the way home. And this guy is like, you guys are low, not from here, because he saw us looking at the board and shit like that. You're in a line like you're in a cafeteria line. And he's like, asking for a Twinkie. And I'm thinking, is the guy fucking with me? A Twinkie? I'm not going to ask for a Twinkie. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. And he goes, no, I'll ask him for a Twinkie. And I don't recall the guy's name that was behind the counter, like working in the pits and, the meats and stuff. And let's just say his name was Ralph. He goes, Ralph, This guy's never had a Twinkie. So now my heightened senses went up like, this is going to be a fucking prank. He goes, save him a Twinkie. Because the guy looks at me and goes, they don't save them. They're first come, first serve. And he only makes like 20 a day. So he's like, yeah. How many you want? And I go, we'll take 2. He goes, you got it. So we get up there in line through all the people. And we get our food and the 2 Twinkies, which are jalapenos stuffed with cream cheese, wrapped in pulled pork, and then bacon and smoked. So I had it, and I was blown away because I was not thinking this was a Twinkie at all or how it was going to be.
Yeah.
So it was so good, I said, I got to put this on the menu. So I asked the guy, I go, can I put this on our menu? We're way up in Wisconsin. It's not going to have any, I'll even use your name, right, that I discovered it for you. He goes, yeah, it's kind of a down south thing. Everyone, they call them armadillo eggs and all that stuff. I'm like, no, I'm going to call it a Twinkie. And he's like, make sure you just call it a Twinkie. I go, the restaurant's name is Agave. I'm going to call it Agave Twinkie. He goes, okay. And he showed me exactly how they do it. Cut it in half, take seeds out. Brought up Bill was like, fuck that, because it's just, it is labor intensive.
I bet.
Yeah, it's labor intensive. And you have to learn how to wrap the bacon, because if the bacon doesn't cook right, it falls apart. You got to get it so the bacon kind of shrinks it together and pulls it together. It's there is a technique to this. It's not just slapped together. And it sells good. But it's a lot of education too. It's like, get the Agave Twinkie. Fuck, we're expecting a dessert. Nope, it's the same thing I went through. And they like it, and it's the same thing. But it's on the menu. You can see it.
I'll have to try that. I haven't tried it yet.
It's delicious.
It's good. It's good. And like any fresh vegetable, depending on the season, the intensity of the jalapeno, which is kind of fun too. And then the thing we do different, because I didn't want to just clone it, is we did a raspberry chipotle, Smucker's jam, raspberry jam, and chipotle sauce. We dip.
That's all you guys do. Your raspberry chipotle is.
That's it, man. We make it in house from scratch. Yeah. Well, we don't make the jam. We buy the jam. But yeah, and then drizzle it on it, and just a nice little fire. And that's the thing with the raspberry chipotle. The day we make it, it's fine. The next day, a little bit of heat. The third day, it's perfect. It's like it'll kick you right in the balls a little bit. So you can always tell what day you're on with the raspberry chipotle. I mean, it's got a shelf.
I think I told you when we ate there, I told you to get it on the wings. It's great as
a
wing
it's great
sauce.
in wings. It's Candace's favorite. Yeah. Raspberry chipotle and the wings. I can't do it. It's a little bit too much fruity, but it's got great flavor, intense flavor. But we'll do it on the food truck, and it just goes a little too fast. You got to be respectful of the prep ladies, because they'll just... If you got to make 100 of those in a day because of a fair or something, they're gonna be like, "Fuck you, we quit." Because I mean, it's labor intensive. Each one, 3.5, 4 minutes to make, and I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot of hand motions, and that's all of the ingredients in front of you. That's assembling it. That's not par baking the bacon. That's not slicing every jalapeno, gutting it out. That's not kind of, getting the cream cheese warm and soft, right? Not liquid, but soft so you can actually use it. That's not making sure the pulled pork is cooled down so you don't burn your hands on it. You get what I mean? There's a lot of things that come together before assembly. It depends on the jalapenos. Some are big, some are small, some are big, some are small. You do your best to try to do it. And then we roast them. And then at the very end, we'll deep fry them a little bit to get that crunch on the bacon, and then you serve it. I didn't come here to talk about food, but it was just part of the trip.
Well, I think the point was we were talking about how you got cowboy bites, which are a huge hit, and then you got stuff that you put a lot of work into that may not be as popular as your cowboy bites.
Cowboy corn bites fucking fly everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just like, didn't do anything to those. Yeah. But
not your Twinkie that cost you $50,000 to discover.
Well, the Twinkie is probably, if you wanted to like stick it to me and go, yeah, he ain't making any money on this, the Twinkie is probably the lowest profit margin item on the menu because of how much labor goes into it. Because labor ain't cheap. I mean, it's not cheap anymore. It's not. That's all there is to it. Oh, your prices are high. Yeah, we also have 4 employees there at $75,000. With full benefits.
Yeah.
Tell me another restaurant that's non-union that has full benefits. It's not out there.
What's your favorite item on the Agave menu? Do you have one? Ooh. Or is that just too hard of a question?
No, it's not a hard question.
Changes seasonally?
I would say I'd probably say the I can't remember the name of it. It's got jalapenos, blue cheese on a chicken sandwich. It's not the My Boy Blue. It's the I can't remember the name of the sandwich. My wife just orders it for me. Or the pulled pork sliders.
Okay.
Your pulled pork is...
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's we got really lucky with it. We were trying products because we wanted to make it, but then we got to the point where we were making too much of it. You can't keep up. We were selling too much of it. So then Curly's helped us come up with their product where they did it in their facilities, and we've been using Curly's ever since.
Huh.
I was in the restaurant business for a while too. There's a lot of companies that do like, here's my recipe, and then somebody like Cisco or
absolutely,
yeah, they'll
Bix
make that
Produce,
yep,
US Foods, they all do it. So you spec a recipe out to them, and they'll just do it for you for a minimal cost. I mean, there is a cost to it, of course,
like an upfront cost and all that too.
Well, not upfront cost because you're using their labor, but as long as you're not a dick, they can use your special salsa or something like that to sell to other things. It's
you guys make the Laredo Ranch right there, though?
We still make Laredo Ranch. We're very tight about that recipe because it works.
I can't copy it. I've tried.
Yeah, but I can tell you what you're doing wrong too.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. I just get a hold of Chef.
Yeah.
I hit him up on Facebook, and he just hooks me up.
Yeah, he'll just hook you up. Yeah, and that's another thing. It's like I watched my kids when I made the first couple pizzas, and my wife takes the crust, puts it in the Laredo Ranch, and it's like. So we put a little thing of Laredo Ranch with every pizza.
Ooh, there you go. Fuck
no
you,
more
Papa
crust.
John's in that garlic butter sauce.
Could be the same. I've never had a Papa John's.
No?
Is that the take home and bake it thing?
No, that's Papa Murphy's.
Oh, okay, Papa Murphy's.
Papa John's got everything popular with that little cup of butter, garlic butter they'd send out with your pizza.
I don't think the only reason I think I've never eaten one is I don't think we have one by us, do we?
We just got one in Woodbury like a year or two ago.
Yes, I have.
In Stillwater too, I think. But
yeah, my favorite food if I'm going out to eat sushi.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, I love sushi.
Do you miss Shanghai?
I do miss Shanghai.
That was my favorite sushi.
Yeah. He got too wrapped up in those alpha things or those, what do you call those Polaris three-wheeled things that are on the roads?
Yeah, the slingshot.
Slingshot, thank you. He got into modifying those. Yeah, he had a motor company, Alpha Motors or something that, I don't know if it's still around.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Best California roll I've ever had.
Yeah. California roll?
Yeah.
I'm more into the just.
I like all the fancy ones, but we get a California roll always with whatever. It's like the appetizer, right?
Yeah.
But theirs was the best.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, favorite hockey team, Boston Bruins. Fucking, I love the Bruins.
That's one thing I've only been to one hockey game in my life. This was like, a freebie through an old job I had. And dude, there is no energy like a fucking hockey game.
None.
When those people stand up and cheer at the XL Energy Center or whatever it is, I'm just like, I gotta take my dad to one. My dad's always wanted to go to one. I'm like, oh, I'll get tickets one of these days. Like that's a bucket list item to take him to that because it's just different.
It doesn't stop.
It's like football. It's a 4-hour game, dude.
But football, you're trying to execute a play.
Yeah.
Hockey, it's a million mistakes, and you're hoping for one moment of greatness.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's a million mistakes. There's no plays. Yeah, they have, do this, do that, but it never works out. It's just a million mistakes, and you hope that you can just pull together a couple moments of greatness to make a goal. I mean, my daughter's just their last game of the year. They just lost a playoff game to Somerset. This is the fourth overtime they lost. And you know what? None of the fans were sad or cheering or nothing like that because it was like we just witnessed a great hockey game. Both teams won, both teams lost because that team is now beaten up for their next playoff game. I mean, you just played 2 full games of intense hockey.
That's crazy.
And we lost to a good team. We were a good team too. And not we, it's my daughters. I'm not speaking for them, but it's how do you teach your kids that if you're going to lose, that's the way to lose.
Go out with
my dad and my grandpa always said, if you don't have to win a fight, but they should walk away knowing they fought you.
Yeah, that's a great fucking reference right there.
Yep.
Yeah. That's it. What other life lessons you need?
Oh, yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah. What other life lessons can you drop on a youngin like me?
Enjoy life. Enjoy the seasons. Drive with the windows down.
Every rally.
Yeah. Don't be afraid of a speeding ticket. It's just money.
Yeah, but sometimes I've gotten a couple, and actually it's funny enough, they've never been on a rally, but my insurance is hurting right now.
Well, that's you got to pick and choose your battles. I get what you're saying. One of you mentioned a long tunnel in Tennessee.
Yep.
I will say it. I came out of that tunnel kind of hot because again the exhaust, and I'm fucking 10 years old.
Do you rev your car when you go under the Northwestern Bridge?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah. If I have a chance to hit the throttle, I do it.
Yeah.
So anyways, I come out of that tunnel, and here's a very nice officer pointing over. I'm like, fuck, I got busted speeding. The wife drives by. She's flicking me off laughing, right? So I pull over Taylor, and I pull over, and it was a federal park ranger.
Mm-hmm. I've gotten one of those before.
Ticket doesn't go on your speeding ticket. The guy was so fucking cool. He goes, I'm giving you a ticket. I'm telling you, just pay the fine. It doesn't go on your insurance. It doesn't go on your points, nothing. It's the federal government. But I'm telling you, if you don't pay it, there's going to be a lot of pain. It's not going to go away. Pay it. Forget about it. Thank you. Shook his hand. Very grateful. Took off. Right? So it's, if you get a ticket, go to the court and just be truthful. Hey, can I get a non-moving violation? Yeah, you can. You know, I got one in the friendly state of Minnesota going a little heavy. And I got I'll tell you one even better. I got one in Utah trying to catch up to some friends. Got pinched. It was pretty hard. And they just gave me if you don't get in our violation within 90 days, we'll forgive this ticket. I live in Wisconsin. I'm not going to be in Utah for 90 days. Yeah. So
score.
Score. There's ways to get around it.
Yep.
But that's what I'm saying. Just have fun. Don't drive like a dick. Be respectful. And understand the person in front of you, you don't know what they're going through. Don't pass them like an asshole. Mm-hmm. Don't rev it. Don't make short passes either. Have plenty of room. Mm-hmm. Okay? I have plenty of room. And if you want to go fast, do it on a track. Mm-hmm. This is a Larry reference. He lost it only because he was on a track. He had a world-class car for a track. Tracks don't have pavement depressions where you hit a bump and you just launch your car. Okay? Be the person your dog thinks you are.
Okay. That one I want to take with me for sure. That one's going to stick forever.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a really good one.
Be that person. Mm-hmm. If you do something good, don't fucking write it on a check and put it on Facebook. Mm-hmm. If you do something good, just keep it to yourself because you'll be rewarded later. Mm-hmm. Opportunities are put in front of you. No one tells you to walk through them. So you got to be mindful of that. You got to look for things. Stay away from people that have an excuse for every solution. Mm-hmm. When the elevator goes to the top floor, you're going to let people off. Be comfortable with it. Might be a little deep for you. When you're going through life, your inner circle is going to get smaller and smaller.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to be comfortable with that. My dad, when I was young, he told me, you just hope you have 5 friends when you're my age. And I was like, fuck, dude, I'm popular. I'm going to have tons of friends. And, you're going to always have acquaintances. I still have a text group from high school and all that shit. But when it comes down to, I need this person or something like that, there's a couple. And that feels good. And you value those friendships. And you keep them. There's always going to be people in your circle. There's people in your outer circle and stuff like that. And people that you're so fucking glad to see when you're at a rally or an event. But who's going to pick up the phone? Who do you feel comfortable calling at 3 a.m.? Mm-hmm. Those are the people that you never turn your back on them. And whoever is with you at your lowest, be there for them. When I was at my lowest, I went to the cigar shop because it wasn't a bar. I wasn't going to go to a bar and drink. And the guy let me hang out in the basement, smoke cigars, got a key to the place, all that shit. The place came up for sale, and so I bought it because I didn't want it to disappear. They were going to sell it to someone else, but things weren't adding up because they didn't want the property. Well, it means they're going to move it. So made the same deal, and the guy that's been there 20 plus years, his name's Jeremy, fantastic 5-star human. I said, let's do this, and he jumped in with me, and We bought it. I'm more there for the property. He's there for the business. It works out good. But be there for the things that were always there for you. That's why I can't turn my back on that Z28. Some of the closest calls I've had with life and death, the car didn't let me down, and the car protected me. You got to be there for that. Your parents, your dad and mom carried you around when you were young. I mean, I know you love your parents, but you got to be there for them when now they're fragile. And it sucks. Everything's temporary. Everything's temporary. No matter what you want to think or do, time just keeps going. Does not care about your feelings. Doesn't care about the size of turbo on your car. Doesn't care if you're having a bad day. Tomorrow's coming. So don't beat yourself up. Keep moving forward. Forgive yourself in the past. Don't let it hold you back. Alcohol steals tomorrow's happiness.
I've seen you post that one before.
It's true.
I think on Facebook.
I have,
yeah.
Yeah. It just steals tomorrow's happiness. Especially when you're older. When I see older people, it's like, oh God, I was so fucked up last night. Yeah, it's why I like bartending. You used to like bartending, and that's why I've encouraged my oldest daughter to bartend, because you're still the center of the party.
That's where I met you.
Yeah, you did. Yes, you're right.
Over 20 years ago, probably.
Yes, yep. Bartending. I never drank behind the bar. Take that back. I had one person have their daughter's wedding reception, and I did a shot of Louis XIII with her that was paid for. So I did do a shot of Louis XIII, but it's at the time was $1,000 bottle. So, but no one can ever say I was fucking hammered behind a bar. Just don't do that. You know, respect yourself, have integrity. Let people lie about you. That's fine. Doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But just be you. Yeah.
Thank you for supplying my merch store with all these fantastic pillows. Gonna get those going. But no, that's a lot of valuable stuff in there, man.
Yeah. Just shit you think about. I mean, when you're driving, and you'll come up with a lot of this stuff, is Dan will tell you, when you're driving and you can't focus anything else but the road, and everyone's like the scenery, and you're worried about the two white lines and the yellow line in the middle, you do have some deep thoughts, because it could just end so fast. Do you have your will in place? Do you have your life insurance in place? That's the other thing. Too many people fucking die and they don't have their shit together. And you would save so much money in attorney fees for the loved ones left behind. Have a fucking plan. Have a plan. Have a will. It's not hard. You can change it. You can get moody and take someone in or out of it. Whatever you want. But for, you know, it's, again, everything's temporary, including your computer, your cell phone, you, me. And 100 years from now, it's coming. None of us will be here. None of our cars, as much as we want to believe they will not be here.
Well, if you get ceramic coating, you know, use coat. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. And I'm not trying to be depressing. I'm really not.
We'll finish on a high note here in a second.
Just trying to be eye-opening, where it's like, there's so much to live for. It's not fucking working the extra hours this weekend.
Are you planning? You're firing your podcast up, or is it you're still doing it? Or
I don't know, dude. It's. I could go to fucking Key West tomorrow and I wouldn't fucking know. Yeah. And that's fun.
But if you, I got a lot of this from listening. I've listened to a few episodes on your podcast and I really enjoyed it. And for some like life stuff, even me as a business owner and stuff, and with the kids and all that stuff, it helped steer me in some directions. I think that I was just kind of fucking around and needed to get on a straight and path. So that's
I did. I got a lot of positive feedback on it. But I also had some people on that were like, they didn't add value to the podcast. And I've probably got 3 or 4 that I just didn't post because it's, you get taken advantage of when you have perceived success. So when you have a podcast and it does well, like yours is doing well, you're going to have people reach out to you and go, hey, I'd be great on it.
I do a lot of vetting.
It's tough. It's tough.
It's hard to say no sometimes.
It's hard to say no. So you'll bring them on. It's like, okay, I can make anything look great. Here we go. I'm just going to work through this. I'm going to make them look great.
Been there too.
It's fucking tough. And sometimes it's like, I'm not posting this. And when I saw Dan at the Polar Rally, didn't that when we said if you have someone bail out, because that was one thing.
You actually, I didn't even bring up. You brought it up to me first. Like, hey, you're doing this now. I was like, yeah, I am actually. And then I said I have to get you on sometime, and you're like, anytime.
Yeah, anytime. Like here's the bottom line. I had only 2 people cancel on me at last minute, and I know they watch this, and I think that it was because it was new. They didn't take it serious. After a couple episodes, all of a sudden they're like, hey, can we get on? Can we get on? It's like,
I have a few of those people in the back of my head where I got mocked early on, and I'm just like, you will never see the fucking light of day on here. Like, I'm not a vindictive person. I don't hold a lot of grudges, but some of those I will remember, and I will hold the grudge.
But make them watch, too. Mm-hmm. You keep them friends on Facebook and stuff like that.
Of course. Yeah. Here's the thing. 99% of the time, you will not know I dislike you. And I
100%.
There's a handful of people that I make it known, but at the end of the day, like, I'm not here to make enemies. I'm here to live life.
Yep, exactly.
But
now I don't know.
Huh?
No, I don't know.
Trust me, you won't know until you're back on the unemployment line. I'm gonna send you back to the agency. Yeah. But no, those are tough conversations. I remember my first no, and I had to be like, you're just not a good fit, man. Like, you just for the podcast. I mean,
I know what you're saying. You're fucking boring. That's what you want to say.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like, I don't want this to be unnecessary drama. Like, I like to have people on who have stories to tell.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody in their life, everybody has a story. But I'm saying, like, in this particular space, and granted, 2 of the 3 hours we've done here weren't necessarily car related, but at the end of the day, you're someone I see as value. You've done so much for the car community. So that's where it's like, yeah, maybe this doesn't make it out to the national audience.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's a conversation that I enjoyed having, and that's the thing. I will never have anybody on here that I dislike or that I don't want to talk to.
I want to bring value to your podcast. That's why I wanted to come on, because it's, again, if I was in my 30s, I'd be worthless to be on here. 40s probably worthless, but 50s, it's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And really there's nothing more to add on onto that part.
Yeah.
But so I think you just set the record, by the way. So it took somebody to beat Michael Peterson. I'm glad it was you. Michael Peterson, he's a good one. I love having him on. Do you want to pop the usual 3?
Sure, sounds good.
We can get some tacos after, hopefully.
Sure. I'm gonna be sad if these are all General Motors vehicles, but we'll see where we land here.
I'll be truthful. I'll probably surprise you.
Okay.
He will.
So we like to have to ask our guest at the end of every episode to pick 3 cars.
Yeah.
You can have unlimited imagination, unlimited budget, whatever you want to have in your garage. We need a show car, a track car, and a daily driver.
So the show car that I would have no fluids in it, hanging on the side of the wall or sitting in my living room, would be, you're going to have to help me out with the name. It's made by Toyota. Is it a 2000 GT from the 70s? 70s or late 70s. It's called a 2000 GT, I believe.
Okay.
One of the most beautiful cars. Kind of looks like a Jaguar-ish kind of, but it's not. It's Toyota. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful car. But will I drive it? No. Will I own it? No. They're $1 million car, but just because it's art, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful car. What's the next one? Daily driver.
Daily driver.
So I'm going to take a little heat on this, but my favorite daily driver I've ever had was a Prius Prime. I had it lowered, and I love it. I'm on a waiting list for the new Prius Prime, the new body style.
Yeah.
And that thing's going to look like it got dumped in a bad relationship, because it's gonna be Liberty walked out. It's going to be sweet.
Yeah. I've heard those things are actually a lot of. I haven't seen the new body style, but a lot of people are really think that's going to be a pretty neat looking car.
It is a sweet looking car.
Yeah.
And my wife, she'll roll her eyes at me when I talk about vehicles, but when I said that's a new Prius, the new Prius, and she's like, oh, okay, and again, realistic car. Snow tires, it's great car.
I love that. My first Prius I drove, I was like, I almost bought it.
Yeah. And your third one is track car.
Yeah.
Since my Z28 will not hear the podcast, It is my Z28, but if you're talking unlimited budget, God, I fucking hate McLarens because the dashboards look like Christmas trees, but it would be that Senna.
Yeah.
Just because I've seen it in real life and I've heard it. And my normal car, I should say GT2 RS. I should, because that's obtainable. But since you threw out the money doesn't matter, I'm gonna be greedy and selfish and say the McLaren Senna. But I do love, truly with all my heart, anyone that fucking knows me knows how much I do love my Z28.
I think that's a fair answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we saw Steve Hamilton's on the community rally, and that was my first time seeing a Senna up close. And when you walk around and you look at a car and its details, like a lot of people talk shit about these like super expensive cars, like, oh man, I could mod my car to look better, just be faster, look cooler, whatever. When you take the time to appreciate that somebody in Italy or in the UK or whatever took the time to develop that car, they put that fucker in a wind tunnel. You're like, how can I make this thing work and be beautiful at the same time? You look at the Valkyrie. Yeah.
These aren't mass-produced cars. They're hand-built.
The Valkyrie is one of my favorite cars ever. Like when I read the How to Build a Car by Adrian Newey, the guy who designs Red Bull cars, and he designed the Valkyrie and working with Aston, and he goes into the detail of what went into that car. He's like, I want this to be functional, but then he gave some Aston a little bit of leeway. When you talk to people who design cars, or you read the books, like that one, you really get an understanding of what goes into it. Like we talk about our daily drivers, like bullshit Jeeps and all this, like, whatever. But somebody somewhere put a little bit of soul into that within the restrictions that they were given. So I don't know. I love that Senna.
My question is this. Why can't regular vehicles look just as cool as the nicer ones? What I'm saying, why can't, let's just say Nissan 350Z, everyone knows them. Why can't the 350Z look just as badass as a GTR? Okay. Now I'm saying GTR, there's a lot into it, right? But why not, when they go on to the next model, why can't they take some of that cool ass shit they learned from the GTR and put it into the 350Z? Same thing. But why is it? Why isn't the stock Corvette can't have, I'll tell you one, you're talking Mopar shit. Why can't the stock Mopars not look like Charles Ingalls wagon? Okay, with those narrow ass fucking tires. Why do you have to get the red eye? Why? Answer me. Tell me fucking why. Because there's no reason. Why can't you just put out a car that looks great? The stock model, the cheapest model, still looks great.
Like in the 70s, like we did, or 60s or whatever.
Yeah,
because they want to sell the high model.
The up edge. Yeah.
Why can't the stock Ford Mustang or the stock Camaro not have 4 tailpipes? Why is it when you're behind it, you go, that's a V6? Because it's only got 2 tailpipes instead of the 4. Why is it you're behind a ZR1 and it's like, that's got the tailpipes in the middle, not on the outside? Why can't they just make all the shit look great?
Because then it's not a status thing either.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
But also, if all I can afford is a Dodge, is it the GT, the standard Challenger?
Yeah.
Challenger, the 2-door one.
Yeah, they're like a V6 all-wheel drive, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If that's all I can afford, why should I be shamed when I bring my date to it, or my high school buddies or wherever it's, what I mean, at the time, when you're young like that, why can't it look like the red eye stands? Why not? Why not give people pride? Because when those people get older and they have money, they're going to stick loyal to you instead of going, you fucking clowned me when I was in my 20s. Like I had a Formula 350 growing up and in the 80s, and that car looked great. And that was the stripped down version of the GTA. So all it didn't have was a ground fix, but it had the wide ass tires, still had the 350, still had the great seats in it. It was still, at the time, today it's a piece of shit, but at the time it was a great car.
Yeah.
When I had my Fiero GT, why did the GT look so badass, but the SE looked like a clown car? It's not fair to people that can't afford to get the really nice car. Why not make it still look good? Like Hyundai, when they created the Genesis line, all those cars look great, but you also know that it's trying to look like a BMW or a Mercedes and stuff like that. But it's not there. but it gives the people driving it pride. And you know what that does? It builds confidence. You know what that does? It gets them that next fucking promotion. It gives them the minerals to take that leap on that next job. A car can help build you. You may not think that. You may want to laugh at it, but the confidence you get when you're driving a fucking nice car and people are like, dude, that's a sweet car.
Oh, for sure. Well, that's one of the beauties of being where I'm at in my position is I've driven some insane cars over the years, or even riding shotgun, even crazier. It's just like riding that SVJ changed my life. That I was thinking like, oh, I'll just get a few roommates, get a part-time job, fuck around, be a gamer, whatever. After that, like the drive just sparks. And it comes and goes. You know how drive goes. Yeah. Sometimes it's just like, fuck it.
Yeah, but does it kill that if you go that other route where anybody can go get in a car that looks just like that? Does that hurt the automotive enthusiasts?
Not at all.
Like,
because car enthusiasts know. A normal car person, me 10 years ago, would not be able to tell you the difference between a 911, a 911 4S, a 911 Turbo S, a 911 Turbo 4S, whatever all these numbers are. I still can,
but I'm you 10 years ago.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't there yet, but they all looked fucking cool. Yeah. That's one thing I tip my hat to Porsche about. It's like, you can't tell if it's a $60,000 Porsche or a $300,000 Porsche. Yeah. You can't tell. When you get close to it, you can tell. When you look at the brakes, the radiators, and all, the stuff in the front, you can tell. And it's one thing I kind of fucking like about it. But why should someone get clowned for driving the stock version? Well, why can't they make a stock version that looks good?
We should just rack this up to human race. Who's clowning these people? They should be in the car community and being accepted no matter what, right?
Okay, again, I get it. But it's not that you're getting clowned by, let's say, other people. I'm going to challenge the thinking. It's you're not feeling 100% there when you're cleaning the wheels, when you're, everyone should have wide tires.
Yeah.
On their sports car, on their track car. Everyone should have big brakes. Everyone should, you shouldn't look at a cheap base model car and they can't give you a brake option. Okay, give them the big brakes. Let them be proud of what they have. Because track cars don't have to be expensive. The Z28 does not have any fucking luxuries in it. But it's got everything you need for a track car. It's carbon ceramic brakes. It's fantastic car, right? Big fucking wheels on it. That's what I want every car owner to be able to have, to be proud of that. Brakes are a huge thing. Car people look at brakes. Mm-hmm. Like trendy people, brakes. Fast people look at shoes, right? Yeah, car people look at brakes. If you don't have carbon ceramics, you want to see slotted, vented, big steel brakes. You want to see, the big calipers. You want to see that. You want to see the 6 pistons in the back and 4 to 6 in the front. You want to see that. What you don't want to see is what you see on the stock Ford Mustangs or the
little dingy gray ones.
Yeah, the dingy gray ones that some people, and it breaks my heart every time I see it. And this is why I can never be like liquid multimillionaire, because I would buy their car and put the right brakes on it. When I see people spray paint their brake calipers on those standard wheels, I love that person instantly, because they're trying. They're doing the best they can with what they have. Tons of respect for that person. Mm-hmm. I will respect that person more than someone with an Aventador or something like that doesn't, that's a Huracan, I know, that doesn't respect it. That doesn't give a fuck about it. It's just a token of success to them.
It's like when I see Volkswagen guys when they have like a set of nice wheels, right? Mm-hmm. Like, because I'm in a Volkswagen group with 70 other guys, because that's what I got. I got a GTI, and I see these guys, they get themselves, like, a set of, like, $1,500 wheels that aren't reps. They're half-decent wheels, for the track or something. It's like, that guy's trying.
That's what I want to see. I just want to see effort. You don't have to be the best. Yeah, try and enjoy it. Volkswagen guys, they're a different breed, because it's every one of us in our life, no matter what car you have now, you've thought about that. Like, in my age, it was the Corrado. In the 90s, Volkswagen Corrado was like, maybe that'll be my introduction into actually, these sports cars, because you can modify the fuck out of Volkswagens. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can do some insane shit to them.
Yeah, well, we're in the right shop for that.
That's part of the fun, though, too, right? Like, I mean, you buy something base model. I enjoyed building my orange car.
Yep.
I bought the bigger brakes. I bought the carbon wing. I did all this stuff. I was shopping. I was having a blast doing it. Now I have this car that has everything on it. There's literally, like, nothing I can buy to upgrade it, really.
I'm going to improve my argument here for a second. I don't want nice cars to look cheap and chintzy is what I guess I'm trying to look at. I don't want Miatas clowned when I've seen Miatas on racetracks.
Oh, absolutely. Hundreds of them.
You know, people are like, that's a fucking Mazda Miata. That's a hunk of shit. Yeah, but that fucker can corner.
Yep.
That thing can brake. You know, brake meaning stop, not break down.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to see base model cars
get the love they deserve.
Yes. Given a little bit more respect by their designers and shit. Mm-hmm. I do.
Okay. Yeah, you've come full circle. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I want them to be respected more.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like Phil. Phil had that Mustang GT, that orange one. Nothing special about it. He loved it. Mm-hmm. Why couldn't Mustang just design it a little bit more to give it a little bit more of an edgy look? Because that guy loved that car.
Yeah.
And I loved that car because of how much he loved that car. But why couldn't you, Mustang? Why couldn't you just give it just a little bit lower, a little bit wider stance?
They do put like a stripe sometimes on the side of the V6 cars too, just to dress them up a little bit.
Dress them up a little bit. Yeah. That does help. But with Dodges, why the narrow tires?
They gave them the hoods eventually, like they did. They gave them that. They gave them the dark. That was my thing. That's why I plastered up my wheels because they didn't have the dark wheels.
Yeah.
The next year after did.
Yeah.
I almost upgraded to that thing just to get the dark wheels. It would have been the same price, same payment.
But that engineer that, someone broke his heart in high school, wants to give the car narrow wheels. Why?
Well, that's because it was all-wheel drive and, better in the snow and all that. Because, like, the RTs, right, the base model 5.7s, they had 255s. That's wide, given that the V6s were tricky. That I see what you're saying there.
Yeah.
It gets
give
a little
bit.
The 5.7s got some love. The 3.6s
didn't.
All of it is huge. Growing up in the 80s and 90s where there were 14-inch, 13-inch wheels.
Well, there was no optimization back then.
Yeah.
They were just like, fuck it. Now that everything's all integrated, vertically integrated, how do we save costs here, blah, blah, blah. Let's upgrade them to this, the upsell. That's the other thing. You want to give a reason to get the fries with the burger.
Right. No, I'm with you. I'm just trying to...
By the way, your Cajun fries. I think you know how many times I almost quit 75 hard because of those fucking fries?
Yeah. They don't go along well with each other, do they? 75 hard and fries.
Yeah. No. How many times? Like I would go there, I'd have to order the gaucho steak tacos without the fries. Like, fuck. Yeah. I don't know. It's too much fun. I'm thinking about food again.
So about your fucking cars, what's your dream car?
Me?
Let's hear it. Has anyone ever asked you?
Oh yeah, so we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of when this question was introduced. It was in Texas. My buddy Charles, who works for Motion Auto TV, it started with 5 cars, and I'm like, no, let's cut this down because too much. Like one of them was like your trailer rig and whatever the hell the other one was, but I can't remember what my answer was. I know the Liberty Walk Aventador was in there.
Liberty Walks are addictive.
Yeah.
I mean, what a company.
You know how much I used to make fun of them? I used to make fun
of... Who made fun of them?
No, I used to make fun of Liberty Walk Aventadors. I'm like, that thing's wider than a semi-truck.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I love this thing.
Yeah, they look good. They look good.
So that was my show car. I think I'm going to stick with that. Liberty Walk Aventador. As for track car, the Valkyrie. Mm-hmm. That one's real. I've watched countless videos of that, from Chris Harris to Mr. JWW. The passion I went into designing into that car. That car is really like, it's everything I want. It's 1,000 horsepower track monster. I want a car that scares me.
Yeah.
Right. And granted, you can get scared in a GTI, like if you in the right place. So there's that. As for daily, I was actually thinking about this yesterday, so I'm glad you asked. Or maybe it was today. No, I was actually today. I was watching a Tavares video came on in the background today. He's got like a daily Hellcat Charger, and I'm just like, that would be so fun to putz around. Initially, my answer was RSQ8, but I feel like by the time I have an unlimited budget, I'd probably be living in Tennessee or Texas where I could daily a Hellcat Charger, just because it's not the fastest in anything. It's awful in everything it does, but it's so good at being fun.
if I had to pick someone to go test drive a vehicle for me and tell me the truth about it that wasn't near me, it would be that Mr. JWW.
Okay.
Class act guy.
Yeah.
And he knows cars. Where, yeah, I'm saying where you got to name someone like a celebrity or something like that.
Yeah.
That guy, he can drive.
Yeah. Yeah. You know who else? Chris Harris. I watched his video today collecting cars of him driving a 750S and Porsche GT3 RS, and I thought he was going to say Porsche. He finished the video saying, I'm feeling patriotic as fuck with this, 750S, because he's just like, that car was just such a car to drive.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect that. I expected him to clown on the McLaren.
No shit.
Yeah.
How about you, Decker? What are your vehicles?
So I did mine. Mine's changed a little bit. I've decided that my show car is a 69 Lincoln Continental, Coyote swapped, dropped on bags, convertible. So that's what I want. Then Shelby dropped a Baja Super Snake Super Duty with the 6.7 in it. Finally, somebody's doing a performance diesel truck. So that's my daily.
I did not know that. Okay,
yeah,
show
it's
me
great.
that.
I saw it in person at Shelby America when we were down there for SEMA. It's fucking badass. And then my track car, I stay pretty loyal to Fords. I want to say Ford GT, but I think just as I've been doing more track stuff, I want to drive a GT2 RS. I want to I want to know.
Start out with the 3 so you can handle the throttle.
I was going to say 3, but we have I only get to pick 3, right? So I got to do one and learn into it. I actually drove a GT3 RS. We're doing a rally. He pulls these audibles every now and again for bonus points.
That was such a fun rally. We just started making up challenges. We started calling audibles in the group chat with all the ralliers. I'm like, 100 points if anybody gets to drive a supercar or whatever.
Test driving a super. I guess just drive a supercar. So like you got to find somebody on the street or do whatever. So my wife and I pull into a Volkswagen dealership. They own a bunch of supercar companies now, right? And they had a GT3 RS. I told Mal, she's looking online. I'm like, it's got to be something like 130 or less so that they think that we can actually afford it. We're not going to get this pulled over. So she's texting him, does this count? Does this count?
That was so funny.
We found this GT3 RS. It was like 135K. So I roll in with my orange Mustang.
What year? Like a 16, 17?
I want to say...
Yeah. It was that generation, yeah.
It was an older one.
Yeah.
And
it was before the new generation was released, so that was
had to have like 40,000 miles on it to be that cheap.
This was also what, 4
pre-COVID.
years ago?
Yeah,
was it pre-COVID?
Keep going.
Okay, so anyway, we roll in with my car, and I own an electrical company. I'm not lying, but I'm not fully. I'm looking for something else. I track this car. I want something, whatever. I keep hearing about this. We're running a rally right now. I mean, we're decked out in gear, and my car's all stickered up. I was like, we got track day tomorrow. I'm really considering this or whatever. So they let me drive it. They want you to do a credit check before you can drive something like that.
No shit.
And I'm like, nah, man. I just want to just hop in with me. We'll go around the parking lot, and that's what I did. I drove around the parking lot, drove around, but it was a cool fucking car.
Yeah.
Even Mal was like shopping on the way home. She's like, maybe we can do this, and I was like,
We almost got a guy to buy a Performante. Dealership just wasn't open.
No shit.
I was like 1,000 points if anybody buys one on this rally.
he would do it just to win. He's that asshole.
He's that guy.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
He's good shit. Really good friend.
It was the spec too. Like I literally found it. It was like a half hour out. I'm like, this is the spec you're looking for. Was it red or green? I can't remember. I think it was red. But anyways, he was looking for like a red Performante. I'm like, dude, this is one of your 2 specs.
Is it.
And the dealership was closed. I was like, motherfucker. Like the one dealership that's closed on a Saturday in the country. Are you kidding me? So. I don't know. We've had some fun times. Yeah, fucking rallies. I'm excited to be back in it this year.
Yep.
Speaking of trucks, I just got a new diesel, and I've been waiting a long time for it. So GM paired up with AEV, American X whatever. They do off-road shit. Mm-hmm. So it's got all this skid plates, bumpers on it, stuff like that. First time ever, I'm doing 70 miles an hour coming home, and I smoked a deer. Never hit a deer in my life. I'm on the phone. I'm like, fuck. And the wife's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I just hit a deer. And she goes, really? And she goes, you're going to pull over? I go, there's no way it's alive. What about the vehicle? I go, everything's driving normal. Get home. There was a little fur in the bumper because they're big steel bumpers. Nothing. No dent, no nothing. Little fur underneath the parking sensor. Blew my mind. And so when you're saying that Shelby thing.
Yeah.
The difference between yours and mine, I think yours is going to have more of the plastic show stuff like they do on the other Shelby trucks. So where mine's off road, yours is going to be more. I'm not saying street minded, but it's going to be more street minded. Very excited to see what that looks like because they do look good. They make the front end and the hood look huge on those Shelby trucks.
Yeah, it's got like the 2 nostrils, you know, like the air intakes on the hood and all that stuff.
That's cool.
Wait till you delete it.
I deleted my stuff. The heck, man.
Yeah, you got to delete. And I'm not. It's not a. You're not hurting the fucking environment, okay? It's bullshit.
You think leaving those plastic jugs of DEF laying around at the gas island is better?
Exactly. And the fuel efficiency that no one can remember this, guys. Numbers never lie.
Yep.
So when my fuel economy goes up, the vehicle's running better.
You doubled the life of your engine.
I'm not sitting on the side of the road with a plugged up exhaust. Yeah, I'm going to spend the $5,000. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Numbers don't lie. So fuel economy went up. My dad's got the same fucking diesel truck, and he has all of his on there, and he's had plugged up exhaust, plugged up catalytic converters, and
on the new ones, are they still putting the DEF tank up in the engine bay too?
It's no. GM doesn't do that. It's a Ford thing.
No, GM did that. My father-in-law has a...
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Hold on.
Ours are right next to the DEF tank.
Yeah, so are GM's this model year, and the prior one. The one before that was up in the engine.
Okay. That was horrible.
So the 14 was.
Okay.
But the 16, it went to by the fuel pump, I believe. Because I have a 2020 and then the 2024, and it's by the fuel. And my dad's is a 16, and it's by the fuel.
Okay.
Yeah.
My father-in-law's is up in the engine bay, and he has to have like a step ladder, and he carries a knife.
You got to pop the hood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand DEF fluid. It's dumb.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody does. I don't think I've ever seen anybody in favor of it.
No.
Ever.
Semi's got to do it now.
Yeah. No, I remember
skid loaders, Bobcats, shit like that. It's got to have it.
If it's over, is it 75 horse or 100 horse? Because the one skid steer, because my dad does a lot of work for the Amish.
Mm-hmm.
So the one skid steer does have it. The little one does not. And the other one's because he said it was under 75 horse or 60 horse, whatever it is.
Okay.
The little ones don't need it. Why? I mean, I don't know. It's funny how these rules and laws are put into place by people that just don't understand.
People that'll never use it.
No.
You're never gonna see any of these guys driving a skid steer.
They don't even understand how it works. They just someone tells them to vote on it, and they do.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but they need their fucking landscaping done at their fancy little house they live in that has no grass.
Let's finish on a positive note.
Again, we're all hypocrites.
I'm like, man, this is about to be a 20-minute rant we're going into.
No. We have to break this into 2 episodes.
That's what happens when you bring old people on.
Back in my day.
Yeah, right? Sorta. But yeah, positive note, positive note, there's a lot of good in this world. And it's a great time to be alive. You may not think it's a good time to be alive because of what the news tells you.
What social media tells you.
Yeah. When you shut that shit off and look around and understand you still have all the feeling in your fingers and toes and you can walk around.
As long as you aren't playing around with Tannerite.
Tannerite's fun. Yeah, Tannerite's fun. But yeah, just there's a lot to be grateful for, and we take it for granted too much.
Mm-hmm. And on that note, where can people find you?
Instagram Z28.1.
Simple enough.
Yeah, it's really simple. It's one of the greatest addresses you could probably get.
Yeah.
Might be hard for a Ford owner to click on it, but yeah, it's
Z28.1. Forced into my feed just because I follow you.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it's just want to be known as a car guy who loves car rallies and
yeah, makes sense to me.
Yeah.
As for you, Dan?
You can find us at Gun It Garage. Just trying to do the same stuff with the whole fam. Hanging out. Did I say it yet?
You didn't say it. You're good.
Two ends.
He always
say
says
what?
With 2 ends.
2 ends. It's my son came up with it. His name is Gunner, and he used to run around saying "gun it" all the time at home. So he kind of spun off on it. So it's got 2 ends in it.
Yeah,
Gun it with 2 ends is what your slogan is.
Yeah, well, that's our slogan is "Life at the Red Line" because with 4 kids and all
always
the
has
shit we're
specified
doing.
though.
Yeah,
you know, because I people are not gonna, I get it. Like Lambo Dad, he had 2 Ds. You know, I have to fucking search for that all the time. So if he was my podcast co-host, it's Lambo Dad with 2 Ds.
Why don't you just say gun it?
I guess I could.
Oh,
just
you could do that.
Fucking with you.
Then they might mistake that for 3 ends.
Right?
Yeah.
It's great. I got my Road America plate, and I got gun. It fits in there just perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just show your logo. So what you should do is put the logo on the other side. Where's your camera angle's right there. You should have
mine's right there.
Yours is right there, but you're covering up with your arm.
That's all right. I was gonna wear my monoxide sweatshirt, but
yeah,
it's such nice quality. It's too hot in here.
Your logo's what's that logo there?
Well, this is just the AMS shirt.
Right there, that sticker right there. You feel free to take some of those with you.
That's one of your stickers right there.
Put that on the car. Oh, and you got one of those QR codes. That's clever shit, man.
Dude, me and my designer, we work well together, man. He's the best in the world. I love him. He's designed all my liveries all over the years. It all just kind of started out of nowhere. Now he works over at Tint Pros designing cool stuff for a lot of other cool people. So that's really cool. As for me, you guys, hopefully 3 hours deep. Did we crack 3? Yeah, 3 hours 12. Dude, who the fuck is gonna beat this?
Hey, I've got one positive thing to end on. Yeah. When you said window tint, people don't realize how easy it is to get window tint. Get it. It changes everything. It's a simple luxury.
Yeah.
It's a simple luxury. You're not driving in a fishbowl. Man, get window tint.
You still got Brian doing your stuff?
Yeah, Brian Rosenberger does all.
So we're lucky enough to be pretty good friends with somebody who's the master at
it.
Yeah.
You go see him on a Saturday, you flip him $50, whatever he does. Yeah, window tint's a huge thing. Yeah,
changes the car. Everything.
It's like putting sunglasses on, man.
It's the best mod, quote unquote mod, you can do for your car. Yeah, it's the best knowing that people can't look inside when I blow past them. But yeah, make sure you guys you're 3 hours in, you know what you're following. So thank you for coming on, Paul. Thanks for existing, Dan, and we'll see you all next time.
Yeah, see you later.